For a high-stakes clash. This one is a top-of-the-table clash between the UMMC Knight Riders and the Atlanta Lightning. UMMC Knight Riders are the table toppers. Played 2-1-2. Atlanta Lightning is the second-ranked team in the division, one up and one down. Atlanta Lightning winning the toss and choosing to bowl. Captain America himself, Saurabh Netravalkar, at least the former Captain America, Saurabh Netravalkar, left arm fast bowler, new ball in hand, looking to bowl to Naman Anwar. And right off the bat, I am pleased to say that I am joined here in the commentary area by somebody who I used to call a friend. I don't know whether or not we're still friends, but for now, for purposes of for purposes of being able to appear friendly, the great Mustafa Himani. Good afternoon, Mustafa.
Good afternoon, Brian. It's always a pleasure commentating alongside you. I still consider you a friend, a very close one. But high stakes game, you're right about that. We'll talk more about this after this delivery.
Saurabh Netravalkar bowling during the power play over is usually a really good bowler, swinging the ball back into the right-handers. The task. So obviously, high stakes. Give me your impression, sort of 10,000-foot view of what needs to be accomplished today, specifically for the Knight Riders and then in the game overall.
Well, it's very simple, Brian. I think Knight Riders just need to win, because when you go in the playoffs on a winning note, it gives a different kind of confidence in the team, and a lot of players have gotten good knocks in the last two games. So you can see Ali Sheikh probably batted up as number 3. He hasn't gotten a knock.
Oh, interesting. I want to hear more about that after this ball. So Netravalkar, as you would expect, bang on target from the first two balls. In the air, catchable. Going back. And oh my goodness, he made a meal of that. The fielder running backward from mid-on easily should have been taken. How much will that one cost?
Oh boy, that might be a very costly drop, because Noman is in such good nick, and he just completely miscues that shot and goes high up in the air, and it could have been easily taken. It seemed like the fielder at mid-on didn't judge it right off the bat. He thought it's coming right at him, and he started back paddling, and that's when you know it's not getting comfortable out there for the fielder. So
my goodness, I want to talk some more about that drop in a second. Swipe and miss. So you mentioned backpedaling. About the only sport I can think of where it's a good idea to backpedal is if you're a cornerback playing American football. Under those circumstances, backpedaling is okay. But if you're an outfielder, the coaches will tell you to turn, run normally, and look over your shoulder. Had you done that there, I think you'd have stood a better chance of catching that.
That's absolutely correct. I think the wind also played a role in that drop catch.
Actually, you're exactly right, because the batting, Naman Anwar is batting from the southern end, and the wind is coming in from the south. So that would have been carrying the ball back over Dexter Sween's head. Oh, outside edge. Couple of fortuitous runs here. In fact, just one fortuitous run. Asking the right questions, you expect that Saurabh Netravalkar will always be there, thereabouts, and he's found the edge of the bat a couple times.
So it's interesting, Brian, that Atlanta Lightning picked Saurabh Netravalkar to bowl from the end, where you just mentioned the wind is blowing from the south. So he naturally brings the ball in, and this wind is probably going to stop that swing coming in, and it's taking it away. As you can saw in the last delivery, Noman actually edged the delivery, so it was going away from the batter. So
interesting. See, that's why you're here, for that type of deep, excellent, like graduate level analysis. In fact, that was PhD level. Last ball of over number 1. Dr. Ahmed cannot get away. This is defended into the offside. No run, a great first over. Should have had a wicket, Saurabh Netravalkar. At the end of 1, the score is 3 without loss. Okay, so 3 without loss, and Dexter Sween has the opportunity to make up for what I think he will agree with was a pretty straightforward chance that was fluffed.
Interesting, Brian. This group that UMMC Knight Riders and Atlanta Lightning are in, mathematically all four teams can make it to the playoffs. Because even though Atlanta Pacers are 0-2, if they win today and UMMC Knight Riders win today, you'll have three teams with one win.
Interesting.
And so it's very interesting. But these two are the favorites. But yesterday, Raiders Unlimited caused an upset when they beat Atlanta Lightning, so they're fancying their chances because they're playing Atlanta Pacers. So net run rate will definitely come into play.
Yep. Of course, we're still inside the power play. Two fielders allowed outside. Those two fielders are both square of the wicket on either side. This is just an easy single to mid-wicket. So, from what you've seen of your side, I say your side. Right now, you're not a member of the UMMC Knight Riders.
From this side, from UMMC Knight Riders side.
What are the strengths of the UMMC Knight Riders? What are the weaknesses?
I think the bowling has always been the strength of UMMC Knight Riders. They've got some really good pacers, starting with Usman Shinwari, a lot of international experience. Carmine LaRue, you saw what he did in the minor major leagues.
Yep. Interesting that this is the game probably that you will see feature the most left arm pace bowlers.
And spinners, combined left arm bowlers, because you've got Mehdi Hassan, spinner, you've got Ali Sheikh, left arm spinner.
See, there's a joke that you're just waiting to tell, and I'm not going to let you tell it.
No, I'm not saying that joke. I'm being very serious, because I think left arm bowler brings a completely new element to the game.
Oh my goodness, yes. As well played, just a single in the offside. So back to the left arm bowlers. On the Atlanta Lightning, you have Sarab Netravalkar opens the bowling as a left arm pacer. You have Raymond Reefer, who is a left arm pacer. And on the UMMC Knight Riders, you mentioned Carmine LaRue, left arm pacer, Usman Shinwari, left arm pacer. Just paces alone. It's hard to have a game where you have four pace bowlers who are lefties. And then, as you mentioned, the left arm spin of Ali Sheikh, as well as
Mehdi Hassan, yeah. So as a right arm bowler, I feel in the minority right now. And one thing, Noman Anwar up top, he's in form. That's one of the strengths. He's always getting a good start. And Just Curran also played some good knocks in the two games, coming in at number 4. So it's been going good. The other guy, Mukhtar, he needs to find some runs. He looked out of sorts in the first two games, but then again, it's cricket is dynamic. Some are your days and some days are against you.
Oh, interesting and taken, whipped off of the hip. Well, Mukhtar Ahmed is going to have to find runs without the benefits of having Naman Anwar as a partner, because Naman Anwar has just picked out deep backward square leg. The first wicket goes down, and nobody is happier right now than Dexter Sweeney himself.
I was going to say that miss didn't cost Atlanta Lightning much. That was a short pitch delivery, and he could have hit it anywhere. He picked the one fielder that's outside the circle, a deep square leg, and he picked him and gave a catch to him. So UMMC Knight Riders losing their first wicket of Noman Anwar, the man in form. And there you can see it. Man coming in, batting order change. Left-handed batter Ali Sheikh.
Very, very interesting. So I'm going to ask you, in your role as a member of management / ownership for the UMMC Knight Riders, is this move a move designed to get Ali Sheikh some time in the middle, or is there something strategic with regard to this game, why he's in at number 3?
Well, it's a couple of things. One, you just mentioned, he needed to get in, play some knocks, get some balls, get some batting game time, so that come playoffs he's ready. And second, the amount of left arm bowlers that they have. So having a lefty there like Saurabh and the other left arm bowlers you mentioned. So we needed to have some left-handed batters come up the order. So we've got Chaitanya Bishnoi, Muhammad Mohsin also, so we can use them.
I was not even thinking about that. Not only do you have a bunch of left arm bowlers, you have a lot of left-handed batters. So it's going to be interesting to see Ali Sheikh coming in. Delivers into the innings is a lot earlier than you'd ordinarily see him. I want to see if he plays with the same amount of freedom when he comes in down the order. Lets this one go by outside of off stump, and that is the end of the over. Instead of taking a break, Mustafa, I'm going to discuss really quickly something that happened yesterday that tournament management would like to have clarified. In one of the games yesterday, involving one of these two teams, there was an incident where one of the players happened to disagree vehemently with one of the umpire's decisions, and he allowed his emotions to get the better of him, ended up swearing at the umpire. My understanding is that later on he expressed contrition, but tournament management wants us to know, number one, that there has been a $1,000 penalty enforced onto the team. And I'll say more after the delivery. Quick single, Ali Sheikh, very quick. Ahmed, so there. So a $1,000 penalty to the team. More importantly, if an incident similar to that one happens again the rest of this tournament, the umpires are empowered with the ability to send the player off of the field without that player ever being replaced. So if that happens in over number 2, you play the next 38 overs with 10 players. So something that I know is serious enough to the umpires that they wanted to make that point, and certainly to the tournament management. So we won't dwell on it, but just so everyone knows that that is now one of the playing conditions, revised playing conditions for the rest of this tournament. Bowling to Ali Sheikh. Ali Sheikh has developed his game tremendously. Always been the most electric fielder I know. I know you've heard me say a million times he's the best fielder in the country. Always has bowled good stiff left arm spin. His batting is what has impressed me the most this year.
I think he's a complete package, Brian. Not only just fielding, which he's really good at, but he's always a good batter and a bowler as well. And he's one of those guys who can play at any number and adapt to the situation. So made for T20 cricket, Ali Sheikh, and promoted up the order. He's taking his time, but I think once he settles down, gets comfortable, you'll see him score a lot of runs. So I'm excited to see Ali Sheikh perform in this position, see how he does.
Interesting. They've done their homework on him because there's a long on in position. One of his favorite scoring areas. Clipped around the corner. That may have the legs to get to the boundary. The outfield is thick. In fact, it slows down. Stops about 2 feet in front of the boundary. But Ali Sheikh has a couple.
Yeah, just trickled down the leg side with the fine leg fielder inside the circle. As you said, they've taken the fielder on the onside in the deep. So again, like Saurabh Netravalkar should be cutting the ball away from Ali Sheikh with his natural swing, but coming in. So that wind is certainly playing a role.
So again. Oh, he checked the shot. For a split second, I thought he was going to try to elevate over the top of mid-off, but playing responsibly, realizing the ball wasn't quite there for the drive, and just checking his shot.
And a word about Netravalkar, he's the most hard-working player and the bowler I know. He's so consistent. After seeing him, it seems like he's like one of those bowling machines. You just point it in a certain direction and he'll bowl on that spot day in and day out. And who could forget the 2 deliveries that he bowled in the major league when he got Stoinis and Shadab out back to back. Those huge in-dippers. That was a treat to watch, Brian.
Oh my goodness, yes. I want to ask you leagues in just a second. Ali Sheikh, this time he goes over the top of extra cover. He'll have to get to the boundary. So, seen enough. He's been there now for 5 deliveries, advancing down the track and slapping that one over the top of extra cover for 4.
It's a beautiful shot. He just took a step out, not really came down the track, but took a couple of steps out and saw the length on the shorter side and just hit it over the top of the cover fielder. Great shot, great improvisation by Ali Sheikh.
So the last ball coming up now in over number 3.
Instantly you see some field adjustments. Player from the onside coming in on the off. So you've got a backward point gully-ish and a proper conventional point position. So filling the holes on the offside.
Interesting. That's Dexter Sween at extra cover. The tall man knowing that that's the direction that Ali Sheikh likes playing. Defensively here to end things here in over number 3. Good looking over. And in fact, 7 runs coming from it. That is the end of over 3. The score is 14 for 1. For 1. Again, the tall figure of Dexter Sween about to take control of the ball to bowl his second over. 1 for 4 from his 1 over. And again, he would have been the happiest person alive to get that 1 wicket, because the wicket is that of Nauman Anwar, who he dropped only 3 or 4 deliveries earlier. Good delivery. Bang on target, defended by Mukhtar Ahmed. So you mentioned Mukhtar Ahmed hasn't really been around among the runs recently. Mukhtar Ahmed, of course, one of the players who were drafted into the major leagues. Quite a few of those on the field right now. Both teams very strong, talented from that standpoint. What do you think has been sort of the reason why Mukhtar Ahmed hasn't really seen much results with the bat recently?
I think Mukhtar is one of those players who likes to bat up in the order as an opener. He likes to play the fast bowlers first and get his eye in, get some shots in, and then gets comfortable. So a player like this, I think he gets a little bit, it gets harder for him to adjust and adapt when he's shifted down the order. So in the major league, you notice he came in at number 3, and with the openers doing good, he would come in when the spinners were in operation. So I think that's something that Mukhtar will have to work a bit more.
Whoa, short. And looking for the pull. That pull is on because the fielder at backward square leg is several yards inside the ropes. So that easily could have cleared him had he made contact with that. The ball staying just a touch low, and he misses out on the attempted pull.
So Brian, my first impression seeing just the 4th over, it seems like it's a 2-pace pitch. I've seen some balls bouncing up, and this one particularly kept a little low, so it's not going to be easy batting.
Stylish looking shot by Mukhtar Ahmed gets it down to Raymond Reefer coming off the ropes at deep long on. One of the multiple left arm pacers. Left arm pacers are a gift from God, I have to tell you.
I totally agree, Brian. When I saw you bowling in Houston, I instantly realized that it surely is a gift.
I was waiting to see how you were going to turn that into a joke. I just know it. I just know it. Ali Sheikh now on strike, and immediately Raymond Reefer coming back under the boundary at long on. So one man in the deep at long on, another man in the deep, kind of halfway between the 30-yard circle and the boundary at square leg. Good delivery past the outside edge. So 1 ball remaining. A really good over in progress so far by Dexter Sween. Dexter Sween, very tall, gets a good, at the point of delivery, is very upright, and he gets good bounce ordinarily from that height. I would estimate he's around 6'4". Bowling really well so far here. Another good delivery. That length and that line is exactly what you want bowling to the lefty. End of over number 4, just 1 run coming from it, 15 for 1.
So 4 over in the books, 15 for 1. UMMC Knight Riders, a very subdued start. Lost the wicket of Nauman Anwar he was the man in form, and Mukhtar trying to find his form, and then a promotion up the order with Ali Sheikh coming in. Ali Sheikh 6 of 8 deliveries and Mukhtar 4 of 8 deliveries. So certainly Mukhtar wants to stay out there and get adjusted to the bounce. We've seen 4 overs so far and seen 2 pace pitch. Some balls are sticking into the pitch, keeping low, and some are rising up. So it's not an easy task for any batter to come in and adjust to the bounce, no matter how much cricket you've played. And the best thing you can do is give yourself time and then play some balls, see some balls, and then automatically your body and your hand-eye coordination, your arm movement will adjust to that. So bowling change coming up. One left armer going away, replaced by another one. And this was a gentle first loosener and a chance for an out. Good running between the wickets by these two as Mukhtar gets single. The other thing a batter can do when he's trying to find his form is rotate the strike as much as he can, and this is exactly what you see Mukhtar is doing. He's just tapping the ball. He hasn't tried to really play a big shot so far. Tapped the ball, took a single. He wants Ali Sheikh to come in and maybe hit out. Ali Sheikh really getting the first opportunity in this tournament to bat. He's played just 1 ball in this tournament before this, as good delivery, attacking the stumps, and watchfully defended this one to mid-on for a single. So 17 for 1, not really an ideal score when you think about T20 and power play, but it's a tricky one. And as we said early on in the broadcast, net run rate will come into play for these two teams. And the reason why Atlanta Lightning decided to bowl first is they wanted a target in front of them, and they wanted, and this one is outside the off stump, cut, beats the fielder and point. There's a man after it, and it's going to clear the boundary. So welcome boundary for Mukhtar and UMMC Knight Riders. That was a good looking shot. Width was on offer and he took it. Beats the fielder at deep backward point. So with net run rate coming into play, as I was mentioning, Atlanta Lightning would like to see what total they're chasing and have all kinds of calculations and permutations available in how many overs do they need to chase. And I'm sure management in their hut will be keeping an eye on the other game as Raymond comes in. And this one again on the offside. This one just defended towards the back foot point. So 21 for 1. A lot of batting to come. A lot of exciting batters this year. UMMC Knight Riders. Some new players coming in with Joshua Tromp, one of the star players in the recently concluded minor league. What an amazing talent he is. Raymond comes in. This one's tad bit slower delivery, driven straight to the cover fielder. So I need to get his timing right. Still in the 5th over, another power play over remaining. 17 years old, Joshua Tromp, batting at this level and scoring runs. I was not even sure how to hold the bat when I was 17, let alone which side to hit it from and which is the back side of the bat. Raymond comes in again. This was also outside the off. Tries to cut that. This time didn't connect to the keeper, and that's the end of over number 5 as UMMC Knight Riders 21 for 1. See another bowling change coming up. Seems to me the new bowler is another left arm pacer, Fani Simadri. A very good bowler very tricky customer to handle. Speaking about left arm seamers, as I was talking to Brian, you've seen a lot of left arm bowlers coming up in the last few years, and I strongly believe as a kid growing up, you always find an idol that you follow and you want to imitate and bowl like him. So as you saw, guys like Asfani will come in and driven. This one is driven straight. A good effort here in the deep by the fielder, just restricting to a single. As you saw, a lot of left arm seamers coming in and becoming popular, like Wasim Akram and then Mitchell Stark, Mitchell Johnson. And you see a lot of youngsters, when they're looking at these players, they want to follow him. So a lot of youngsters now coming in and bowling left arm, versus in the olden days where left arm bowlers was scarce. Back then you had the West Indies battery of fast bowlers, and Asfani will come in, and this one again beaten, tried to drive that. As you can see, Mukhtar still trying to find something to get his form back. He had a boundary in the last over, but this one just comprehensively beaten. So a lot of right arm bowlers back in the days when they were following the legendary West Indian fast bowlers, and now with the left arm bowlers. Asfani coming in, and this one is driven but straight to the fielder. So with Mukhtar, I think the best thing he can do is control his frustrations, stay out there. The more he spends time, the more he's going to be valuable in the batting. And I know dot ball pressure is something else as Fani comes in. And this one is slower delivery, and that's gone behind his legs. As a slower delivery, he was trying to paddle sweep that, completely misses it, hits the stump, and that's the end of Mukhtar's batting. Still not able to score runs, and UMMC Knight Riders in a spot of bother, 22 for 2, and Fani strikes in his very first over. As Mukhtar takes a slow walk back in the pavilion, skipper coming out, Jaskaran Malhotra. A tall task for these two, Jaskaran and Ali, to stay in the middle, build some partnerships. And this is all about building partnership from this point on. They want to get to a score which they should believe they can defend, and they've got a good bowling lineup too, with Usman Shinwari, Matthew Ford, Carmine LaRue, Shubham. Those are the pacers, and then you got Mehdi Hassan, the leggy Mohsin, and Ali Sheikh can also roll his arms, left arm spinner. So a lot of good bowling, but they need to give their total some sort of respectability, take it to a point where they feel like they can defend. A lot of batting to come still, so just need to concentrate on partnerships right now. They've lost 2 wickets for 22, and we're in the 6th over. Fani will come in. He's going to be bowling to the skipper Jaskaran. Again, good delivery first up, right in the block hole, watchfully defended. So 22 for 2. UMMC Knight Riders. As Fani will come in for his last delivery of the over, and this one again wants a run, sends back, and that was Jaskaran's call as he just tapped it towards mid-off. He wanted that run, but Ali Sheikh sent him back. No damage done. End of the over, number 6, and end of the power play as UMMC Knight Riders 22 for the loss of 2 wickets.
Welcome back to the Param Bears Sports Complex, and I'm going to thank personally, my dear friend. Wait, are we still friends? We did this time. We're still friends, right? All right. My friend Mustafa Himani, for allowing me to inhale a sandwich from Panera Bread as quickly as I did. So refreshments all are in for the day. So really quick, I'm going to respond to a comment. By the way, you're following along on YouTube. So please, we like to make this interactive. I'd like to respond to as many messages as I can on here. As Raymond Reefer with the ball in hand again. Ali Sheikh immediately taps the single into the covers. So please, respond to us on YouTube as much as possible. And there's some of you specifically who are listening now who I know I told to interact with us directly. So please feel free to do that. Having said that, Faisan Ahmed, I don't know whether or not you heard exactly what I said. I said a cornerback, C-O-R-N-E-R, not a quarterback, not a QB. QBs do not backpedal. Under no circumstances would it make sense for a QB to backpedal. A cornerback who is guarding a wide receiver backpedals just so he can see both the ball and the receiver at the same time. So, glad we get that cleared up. In the meantime, a great start with the ball here for the UMMC for the Atlanta Lightning. Only restricting a really powerful batting side in the UMMC Knight Riders to 22 runs in the power play. Great start. Now going around the wicket, Raymond Reefer to Captain Jaskar Malhotra.
Yeah, really solid performance so far by Atlanta Lightning. 23 runs given, and they got both the openers back in the hut. Mukhtar was looking out of sorts this whole tournament, and Nomi, the man in form, they got him in the second over.
It's played into the offside this time. Jaskar Malhotra, the first match that he played in, which would have been Wednesday. Or was that
Tuesday.
My apologies. So when you get old like this, you sometimes lose simple.
What are you talking about, Brian? You're still young.
Right. But Jaskaran, from memory, scored around 65 runs from about 40 balls. You might be able to tell me the exact numbers, but that performance won him player of that match. And of course, Jaskaran Malhotra, one of... Ooh, here's a good trivia question. It may have to be that we ask for no Googling on this one. Slow delivery. It's well played by Ali Sheikh to short third for a single. If you all want to answer this in the YouTube section, you will have to commit to no Googling, and we'll have to operate on the honor system. Jaskar Malhotra, who is now at the wicket, is one of a handful of men who have ever hit 6 sixes in 1 over in an international cricket match. I say again, an international cricket match. From memory, I'm thinking of 4. Those of you who are listening, in the YouTube comment section, see if you can let me know who the other 3 are, apart from Jaskar Malhotra. And again, you have to commit to no Googling. Around the wicket, slow delivery, well played.
Can they use Bing search?
Is Bing even still around? How about ask Jeeves? So again, the question is, who are the other 3 names who we, when I say we, I mean Mustafa Himani and I, are thinking of right now, who we know have taken or have hit 6 sixes in an international cricket over. That is a single to close things out. No, one more ball left in the over, or is that the end of the over? That is the end of the over. 26 for 2 after 7. Great start with the ball for the Atlanta Lightning. UMMC Knight Riders struggling to get off the square. Okay, that woke up the YouTube chat section.
So that's one of our friends from Houston,
Which one?
Neeraj Laughter Deer. And I know for a fact, knowing him, that he Googled it right away. Because fair play is not one of his strong suits. So, Neeraj, if you're listening, what Brian meant to say, no Googling, meaning you cannot search, in case you didn't understand that.
Okay, so clearly, Raj, I like your guess, except that Gary Sobers did it in a county match. It was not an international match. So it's a bit of a trick question. That's probably why you did not get that. Number 2, Raj, you can't forget. Oh, yes, can't forget Chris Broad's amazing over. And then Herschel Gibbs being the third. So, you know what? We may ask a couple of more trivia questions like that. That was fun.
That surely was fun.
Driven down the ground this time. New bowler into the attack, by the way. It is Junaid Siddiqui. Right arm leg spinner. Interestingly, I want to see what Junaid Siddiqui, how he bowls to Ali Sheikh. Ali Sheikh, 10 from 12 with 1-4. But Ali Sheikh's power stroke is in this area, between the arc between long on and mid wicket. And you see a long on in position now, also a cow corner and a square leg. I think if Junaid Siddiqui tosses anything up that Ali Sheikh can get to, I think he'll be looking to give you and me catching practice.
That's right.
He does not toss it up. He pushes it through at pace. That's not surprising. Good work by Raymond Reefer, sprinting off the ropes to limit the damage to 1.
So, Brian, that is a good move, bringing a spinner in and attacking the onside field in the deep. You've got a square leg, mid wicket, long on, and inviting Ali Sheikh to hit that big shot where he's comfortable as Junaid comes in. And this one is slightly shorter, goes on the back foot. Jaskaran just drives it towards long on for a single. So happy with the singles. They need to keep their strike rotating, keep the scoreboard ticking, and make sure they can build this partnership so that the batters waiting for their turns can come and use that to hit some wickets. I think at this point 130, 135 would be a good total with the 2 wickets and scoring rate. And this one again, good delivery, driven to long on, and batsman happy to cross for a single.
So Neeraj has responded. He just seems to think he was just quick. Oh, and Neeraj, I've known you a long time, but pretty sure Himani has known you longer than I have. So I may have to go with him here. That's a good length being bowled, by the way, by Junaid Siddiqui. Just drawing Jaskaran Malhotra forward, getting that ball right on the right length. And so at some point, Jaskaran Malhotra is going to want to start hitting out short. But I'll tell you what, that's well played. Right back to him. Fields on his follow through, no run. So really good over. 30 for 2 after 8. So 30 for 2, Mustafa, it might not be too early to start looking at potential projected scores. UMMC Knight Riders, powerful, really power-packed batting lineup. Tons of major leaguers all over the place. Only scoring at the rate of 3.75 and over.
Very slow, and as you can see, the loss of the 2 openers early on, and credit to the bowling, they're not giving away anything, no width, very, very few loose deliveries and attacking the stump. So both these batters, Jaskaran and Ali Sheikh, at some point they've both played multiple digit balls. Ali 14 deliveries, Jaskaran 10. They've got to speed things up a little bit.
Going with left arm spin. This is Ravendra Prasad. This, for me, may be the over where Ali Sheikh says, okay, I've seen enough, 12 from 14. I'm striking it at 86, 85.71 to be specific. I may choose to take on this left arm bowler. And again, if there's any turn, and we did see some turn in this morning's game. Haven't seen a whole lot of it yet this match, but if there's any turn, it will be into the left-handed hitting Alishik from Ravindra Prasad. Straight up in the air, catchable. The bowler himself wants it. Oh, what a spectacular catch that is. Diving away from his position where his run-up would have been and diving toward mid-wicket. Everyone else in the deep was on the boundary on the leg side, so he was the only one who would have been able to get to that. He sprinted some 25 or so yards and diving full stretch to take a spectacular catch.
That was an amazing catch. Not really easy to run on your own bowling. He ran all the way from his bowling stance all the way towards the short mid-wicket area. It was high, but not easy to judge, and took it really low, got to the ball and took a brilliant catch. And another wicket goes down. Jaskaran Malhotra, skipper, departs, and 31 for 3. And at this point, the UMMC Knight Riders will have to start thinking about some projected total and what can they do for the net run rate that's going to come into play.
Well, I'll tell you what. I believe this is Saif Badar, who's the new batter, coming in to join Ali Sheikh. 31 for 3. You're into the ninth over. Ninth over, 31 for 3. That, by in and of itself, is unbelievable. But you're only looking at another 71 balls. Make that 70 balls to go the rest of the way. You're scoring at the rate of 3.67 and over, so that's not nearly good enough. And the Atlanta Lightning bat very well, and they bat very deep. So I would think you're wanting a score of somewhere around 140, maybe 150 even, because I think conditions are better for batting later on in the day. So it'll be interesting to see how close they get. Oh, a little bit of a fumble here. But if I ask you to take off your commentator's hats on and put on your UMMC official hat on, what are you saying to you guys now?
I think at this point still I believe that 70 balls, even if they get run a ball, which is not very easy with the field spread out, that's 101 runs, and obviously you'll get an odd boundary, so not very difficult to score 100 runs from this point on. So 130, granted it's not a very high score, but it's a score that they can really give their bowling a fighting chance.
So a lot, you would think, is starting to fall on the shoulders of Ali Sheikh. Put in at the top of the order, I don't know that he would have expected that 2 other quick wickets would have fallen when he came in, but you still have some batting to come. Shubham Ranjan is a great bat. I would think he'd be coming in next. Of course, I'm only speculating, you know better than me.
I think if the left-handed batter gets out, it's going to be Mohsin, and if the right-handed batter gets out, then it's going to be Shubham.
Very interesting. Of course, Josh Trump is also there. He can bat. Matthew Ford and Carmelo, I don't know that you can expect plenty of runs from them, but they can come in and throw the bat around.
And Mehdi can bat a little bit too, so he'll probably come ahead of Carmi. And Matthew Ford can hit some big ones.
So they're batting options, but it's all about how you pace the innings. And so I think you'll find that Ali Sheikh, with that dismissal, I earlier started saying that you would have sort of expected him to cut loose. I don't think he'll do that now, at least not as quickly, with the dismissal of Jaskaran Malhotra. That is the end of the over. Struggling, UMMC Knight Riders having trouble getting the ball again off the square. 34 for 3 after 9. Raj S., I'm going to ask you to challenge us in ways more than this simple half volley on leg stump that we just got from this question. Who was the commentator who said Carlos Brathwaite remembered the name? Come on. Oh, looking to force this away off the back foot. And
You saw that ball
the
kept
edge.
really low, Brian. So again, it seems like it's not an easy pitch to bat on. So was certainly a great toss to win for Atlanta Lightning, so they can see how the pitch is behaving and adjust accordingly. And they're doing a fantastic job restricting just 35 runs. So
Absolutely. And so spin, you would think, would play a very a heavy part to play in the rest of the match. You know that you have current bowler is Junaid Siddiqui. You saw Ravindra Prasad earlier. And then even somebody like Fani Simhadre, who is a medium pacer, but his slower balls can have the same grip and turn that you get from a spinner. So there's several bowling options, both with pace and with spin. But to your point, spin may have a much bigger part to play the rest of the way in terms of what happens from here. So now Saif Badar played this season for the Houston Hurricanes. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. That was struck right back into his hand. That could have been a body blow, but was not able to hold on to it. It was struck with power. So, technically it's a drop, but certainly it's not easy. Struck right back at him, and in fact, he may just have gotten hurt. I think Captain Unmuk Chan coming over to take a look to see if he's all right. That does not feel good. I know you've had that happen as a spinner yourself.
yeah, that was firmly hit, and it was just your instant movement that go for the catch, and probably got injured during the process. But a great attempt, would have been a brilliant catch. We've seen one in the previous over, a cotton ball, a different style of cotton ball where the bowler ran all the way towards short mid wicket to catch this catch, and this one would have been also a good catch. But he seems to be okay. He'll probably know tonight how worse it is, but right now the adrenaline is probably keeping him going as he gets some attention.
I don't know that it's keeping him going, because no indication yet that he's going to remain bowling. And Captain Unmuk Chand and senior player Raymond Reefer are both in discussion with him. He's going to continue bowling. So now, and again, as a former and maybe current spinner yourself, how much does it impact you when that ball is struck back at you right now? What's the next several deliveries like? And does it make a difference that he's a leg spinner versus an off spinner?
It really doesn't make a difference. It's just you're a bit cautious in your next few deliveries, but as the game goes on, you'll probably get back to some normal. So it's maybe another one or two delivery that he's gonna be adjusting a bit cautious, because the way he's bowling, he is definitely a candidate for drives coming back at him.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, he's just tossing some of the balls again, wants to see that he's good.
Sure. Now, if you're Saif Badar, you have to understand that this is the delivery that you can get out on the most, drill down the ground, because you want to sort of, attack given a sense or a situation where you sense there's a weakness, and those are the types of balls that sometimes you miscue. Now, one ball remaining here in over number, make that 2 balls remaining here in over number 10. We're almost at the halfway stage, Mustafa. We only have 37 runs on the board. Ali Sheikh looking big. He was winding up. That was the first shot that he's played in anger so far. And
Yeah,
he wants to clear that fence.
Mistimes it, hits the bottom and goes. So as you can see, the batters now want to take the game. It's been 10 overs already, halfway, and 38 for 3. So one more delivery to go. So 38 for 3. They want to get as many runs as they can with 7 wickets in hand in the remaining 10 overs.
Bang! That's 6 of them. That is a brilliant strike. The first time it hits is the fence that is about 15 yards beyond the ropes. So welcome 6. Believe it or not, that is the first 6 of the inning. Saif Badar coming to the party. That is the end of over number 10. Is this the point where the UMMC Knight Riders regain control of this game? 44 for 3. So we're halfway through the innings. 38 runs before that last delivery, but a big six over cow corner. And it is now going to be, oh my goodness, that might be a difficult situation here. My apologies. I was not looking at the play at the time that it happened. But I fear this may be an injury. And immediately Unmukchan is signaling for a replacement player. So that might have been an injury. Apologies that I did not see it happen live. But the way that he's running off of the field, and that is Junaid Siddiqui, the leg spinner who got hurt previously, and then all of a sudden he appears to have been hurt again. So he's going to have to run off the field. That was struck powerfully. Looking back at the replay here internally, that was struck powerfully by Sheikh. And that's going to be a source of concern for Unmukchan. His leg spinner is off the field. In the air, catchable. Raymond Reefer is there, and he takes it easily. Oh my goodness. And all of a sudden, more trouble here for the UMMC Night Riders, because Saif Badar, in trying to take on the spinner, Ravindra Prasad, has gone in the air, got plenty of height, but not enough distance. Raymond Reefer, international player, plays for the West Indies, also plays in the Caribbean Premier League. Not ever going to drop that. So a simple catch taken, tumbled over to make it a little bit stylish. You don't mind that as a captain, because all you want is for him to take that catch. And so there is yet another body blow landed. So all of a sudden 4 wickets are down. Ali Sheikh came in at the fall of the first wicket. He is still there, 18 from 20. Saif Badar hit a 6, but is now immediately out, as the man on the boundary, Raymond Reefer, takes what for him is a pretty safe catch. Okay, so back to you, Raj. And by the way, just for those of you who don't know the answer to Raj's question, the commentator who said Carlos Brathwaite, remember the name, that was Ian Bishop. Trinidadian, former West Indies fast bowler. My sense is that had he been able to stay healthy, he would have ended up his career with similar numbers to Curtly Ambrose. They were that good bowling in tandem. Unfortunately for Bishop, just could never stay healthy. And then these days he's such a good commentator that you forget how good a fast bowler he used to be. And coming into bat now is Shubham Ranjani. So they keep the left-hand, right-hand combination. There are their lefties in the lineup still to come. Mohamed Mohsin is still there. He's a left-handed batter. And Chaitanya Bishnoi is also there. He's also lefty. But I think they want to keep, as what Mustafa Himani said, they wanted to keep the left-hand, right-hand combination, which is why they've sent in Shubham Ranjani. Couple of dot balls. Look at this. 4 balls bowled in the over so far. 1 run and a wicket. You're doing very well here if you're the Lightning. And that scoring rate is still only 4.22. Another dot ball. The scoring rate comes down even further, 4.15. 1 ball remaining here in over number 11. And Raj, I'll get back to you in just a second. Last delivery. Slower through the air, worked into the leg side. Ali Sheikh wants to, but he's not going to be able to get it. Good work in the deep. Look at that throw right next to the stumps. Bang on target. That is a good over. Excellent over, in fact. Ravindra Prasad gives up only 2 runs in that over and takes the wicket of Saif Badar. So at the end of 11, it's 46 for 4. Well, this this is great news as we're talking about the dangerous habits of cameramen and commentators. All of a sudden, back he was hurt in the previous over. In fact, he was hurt the over before, and that straight drive came back at him and went off for a little bit. But happily, we see him back on. So now, Junaid Siddiqui bowled 2 overs so far, none for 14. And having a chat. Oh, look at this. I believe he was about to attempt to bowl, but unfortunately, he will not be doing that. To give himself a chance to see whether or not he had one more over in him, but immediately now gives the ball back to Unmuk Chand. Perhaps an acknowledgement that he's not able to continue. So that's unfortunate. We will have more spin. No, in fact, that's Fani Samadri, I believe, the left arm pacer who's coming back on to bowl. Raj, okay, you went from a high school level question to a PhD level question. This little man is the nearest thing to Bradman there's ever been. That was said about Tendulkar. Who was the commentator? The answer is I have no idea. Played it through the offside. In fact, good stop at backward point just for a single. And so you will notice, Raj, that I'm by myself for a while since Mustafa Himana has taken a break. I think I will wait for him to come back before we try to answer that question. Back to this game, though. 47 for 4. We're into the 12th over. And this is not something that the UMMC Knight Riders would have banked on when they went into bat. A very strong batting lineup, but this is really good bowling so far by the Atlanta Lightning. In the air, down the ground, it's going to be in the gap and goes away for 4. So Ali Sheikh has been there for a long time. 18 from 20 before that ball. Now 22 from 21 with the second 4 that has been struck. And if you're going to look for acceleration, you can do worse than get it in the hands of Ali Sheikh. You saw what he did in the major league or in the minor league finals this past Sunday evening, taking his team out of absolute difficulty. Top scoring, if I remember correctly, somewhere around 25 or so runs, which didn't sound like much. But when the entire team only scores about 103, then that 25 of it coming from Ali Sheikh is also something that you have to be proud of. Plays this one into the outfield for a single. And a whole lot of work. By the way, that strike or the strike that went over extra cover brought up the 50. So you're struggling a little bit, but you also have the opportunity to score some runs here. Worked around the corner. Direct hit there might have been interesting, but Ali Sheikh is very, very quick between the wickets. And so runs now starting to flow at a rate higher than before. 7 from this over so far with, I believe, 1 ball to come. We'll follow up on that as soon as we can, but a little bit of a lag in the scorecard, but more importantly, Ali Sheikh drills this one. Oh, look at that. Great work by Unmuk Chand at extra cover. That ball took a weird bounce off of the floor. Unmuk Chand is staying right on top of it. So, 1 more ball now to be bowled in over number 12. And Raj, your hint does not help me at all. And I'll just say that's all I'll say on that. Looks to work this away down the leg side. That may have missed the pad and hit the inside of the knee. That always hurts. And you see Ali Sheikh doubled over in pain. Again, looking to pivot on that one, whipping it around the corner. Very sure that that just missed the pad. And absolutely, that is going to hurt every single time. So, a dot ball, though, in the context of things, that is not a bad development if you are the Atlanta Lightning, because One dot ball ends things here. That is the end of over number 12. The score is 53 for 4. Fifty-three for 4. Continuing with Ravindra Prasad. 2 overs so far. 2 for 6, if you can believe that. And working this into the onside, Shubham Ranjani. So you are down now to your last 46 balls in this innings. 46 balls in which you need, I would think, to score somewhere around 10 and over. 10 and over from here, where you are right now, gets you to 131. You would have been eyeing a much bigger target than that when you came into bat. Ali Sheikh looking again to his favorite scoring area, that arc between long on and mid wicket. He misses out on the attempted slog sweep. And Ravindra Prasad doing well to toss enough of a carrot out there, tossing the ball up, inviting Ali Sheikh to go for the drive, but keeping that length back just enough so it's out of the big stroke. And pressure is now building because only one run from the over with 2 to come. Reverse sweep, and it's going to be in this direction, and it's going to be 4. Well, I didn't see that one. Ali Sheikh usually, again, scores heavily in the arc between long on and mid wicket. This time he breaks out the reverse sweep. That is a shot that is always on if the fielder at third is inside the circle. But those are welcome runs for Ali Sheikh and the UMMC Knight Riders. He's now up to 27 from 27, striking it exactly at 100. Last ball going around the wicket and played into the offside. That's just going to be 1. A relatively productive over. Usually 6 runs in an over does not sound very impressive, but when the overall rate for the innings is only 4.54, you realize that you've done better in that last over than you had been in the match to date. 13 up, the score is 59 for 4. So Captain Umukchan going back to the pace bowler Raymond Reefer. Reefer has bowled 2 overs, only conceded 10 runs. In fact, every bowler who has bowled so far has bowled 2 overs, with the one exception being Ravindra Prasad, who has bowled 3. Everyone else still has 2 overs to go. So plethora of bowling options for Umukchan. Here's Reefer. Played into the offside, no run. And now you're starting to get running out of deliveries. Only another 41 to go. Raymond Reefer again. 2.1 overs so far. None for 10. So he's done really well with the ball, keeping the scoring at about 4.6. Ali Sheikh wants a run, not going to be able to get it. Raymond Reefer bang on target so far to start his overs, or at least to start this over. And with each dot ball, the pressure continues to build, because you know that Ali Sheikh, even though they're 4 wickets down, he's in the stage of the innings where ordinarily he'd be looking to hit out. And so you're going to see exactly what happens from here, because something is going to give sometime. This is wide outside the line of off stump. And in fact, this is the first time that we are actually going to call the names of the umpires. So the umpires today, currently operating from the southern end of the ground, is Anvesh Achanta, and it is Byron Roberts, who's currently standing at square leg. So a long way of saying this is a very tricky situation for the UMMC Night Riders. Whipped around the corner. That might be in the gap. It is in the gap, and the diving attempt by the fielder running across from square, in fact, from cow corner. That is Sagar Patel with a full dive, but not able to cut that one off. So welcome runs here for Ali Sheikh. And so now we're but halfway through this over. 64 runs on the board, if you can believe it. And while Mustafa Himana is away, I'm going to be joined by commentating royalty as this is slammed over extra cover and goes for 6. What a shot. Shah Faisal, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon and good time to be coming in. What a strike that was. Stunning.
Well, Ali Sheikh has been there for a while. Ali Sheikh came in one down, came in as at the fall of the first wicket. Generally, he bats a lot lower than that. So it will be interesting to see if he continues being as aggressive as he shows here. Looking to run this one behind square. Doesn't make contact. When you come in and you look at the scorecard and you see 60, make that 70 for 4 after 13.5, what would your thoughts be?
Well, Ali Sheikh has been there in this situation before and in bigger games. I think beyond that final of Mana League where he really played nicely, although Noshkin Jiga took all the praises. Not to forget Ali Sheikh, the contribution he made.
Absolutely.
Young man.
Last delivery cut away behind point, fumbled by the fielder at backward point. So they'll get a single here. That closes things out in over number 14. A very productive over. Again, 12 from the over may not sound like much, but that almost doubles the scoring rate that they'd been achieving before that. So 14 up, the score is 71 for 4.
Is this off now? On. Oh, I didn't even. You want to take a 5-over break altogether, or you want to do together? Or you want to walk around to any better? Okay. You're in the groove.
So 71 for 4. The last 6 overs, the last 36 legal deliveries coming up. And this is going to be Revenger Prasad coming back into bowl. His last over, 2 for 12 are his figures. Good, solid left arm spin. Ali Sheikh is a big hitting left-handed batter, so he's going to be looking to take Revenger Prasad in the arc between long on and square leg. But Prasad has done well so far to keep the ball out of his arc. Goes in that direction and straight down the lap of the fielder at mid-wicket. So Ali Sheikh perishes, wants to go big in that direction, and you know he was being tempted to go in that direction. And a simple catch taken in the deep. The fifth wicket is down there, 71 for 5.
Yeah, as a batter, you got to take a lot of things into account. This was into the wind from Ali Sheikh. Straight down the throat of that fielder. That was a low percentage shot, but Ali was in the mood. He chanced his arm, but didn't work out for him today. Half the side is back in the hutch for 71.
Well, 39 from 34, 4 fours and a 6. But I dare say that when he came in, he would have had a different mindset from what he ended up with. What I mean by that is, coming in at the fall of the first wicket, you know, there's plenty of batting still to come. Mukhtar Ahmed was at the crease. You still have all of the other big bats who were at the wicket or still to come. You had Jaskaran Malhotra still there, Saif Badar, Shubham Ranjane. So you're thinking if you're Ali Sheikh, you get to come in and be expressive. You get to come in and play your shots. He ended up having to play the anchor role because wickets were falling all around him. Essentially forced into a position that's different from his comfort level is what I would think. So the new batter is Mohamed Mohsin. A lefty replaces a lefty. And a little bit more trouble here. This is played well through the offside. Offside does not have the legs to get to the boundary. You don't think they'll get a couple. Do they want 3? They're coming back for 3. That is great running. Shubham Ranjani calling Mohsin through. And they get that 3rd. So an aggressive start. That's exactly what you would think. At this stage of the innings, you want to see that scoreboard keep ticking.
Yeah, Mohsin is a very, very capable bat. To come out at number 7 in this lineup would tell you that it was a strong top order, but only Ali Sheikh excelled with 39. Big hitting, Noman Anwar, Mukhtar, Jaskaran, Seb Badr. They all fell, left their team with a lot to do. But this is a big field, Brian, and the outfield is not as quick as some others. You've been soldiering along on this field all on your own. So what is a good score here? Give me some idea.
A good score is probably 140. Are they going to get to 140? It's very unlikely. But bear in mind also that the UMMC Knight Riders have an excellent bowling attack. They have good pace bowling, lefty pace bowling. Carmel LaRue, they have Usman Shinwari. You certainly have excellent spinners with Ali Sheikh, Mehdi Hassan. You certainly have the mystery spin of Mohamed Mohsin. And so the resources in the bowling department are very stacked. But as of now, they're not thinking about that yet. They're thinking about getting as many runs as they can. But that dot ball closes things out here in over number 15. Believe it or not, only 5 overs to go and only 75 runs on the board. 75 for 5.
Phenomenal effort with the ball and in the field there from the Lightning side. Remember, they have to win to qualify for the next round. Being the local side alongside Atlanta Fire, they were the most favorites to go through from this area. So they really have to be at their very best in the remainder of this game too.
So it is Saurabh Netravalkar with the ball in hand. Bowled first 2 overs from the northern end of the ground. Now coming from the south, bowling to Shubham Ranjani. 5 from 11, so he's scratching around a little bit. Can bat can hit big, and he's going to be asked to hit big. This is crushed into the backward point area for no run. Ravindra Prasad right in that area to make sure that no runs are scored.
Yeah, it's a tricky situation. They don't want to lose wickets, but at the same time, in these last 5 overs, they can't afford to have too many dots. At least make a run a ball or make use of every ball. That's the balance these two need to find. Capable players, like Brian said.
Advancing down the track, I think there's no question about whether or not it was an edge. The question is, did it carry? And now the umpires are discussing, and he raises the finger. So that means that umpire Anvesh Achanta was sufficiently convinced that that ball carried all the way through into the gloves of Lahiri Malantha, and all of a sudden 6 wickets are down. We're 3 delivers into the 16th over. We're almost through the entire side.
Yes, the top order has been cleaned up here, and Brian is right. We all heard the nick, even in our comm box. It's just that there's a little slope, so we couldn't even make out from here that did it carry. That's all the umpires needed to confer while looking at each other, and the square leg umpire did make a call. And that latest wicket leaves the Knight Riders 75 for 6.
Boy. Okay, so the batter is now Matthew Ford. Matthew Ford, who is one of the more young, exciting players that we have around. In fact, it may be that he can go back home and play for the West Indies sometime soon. Let's just say they certainly need him.
Yeah, I was talking to Vinod Mamchan in the other field just a while ago. We feel sad that the World Cup has started today and West Indies are not part of it. And even more surprised, you see so much talent on the USA circuit that's coming out of Caribbean and plying their trade here. That makes you wonder why, oh why, they couldn't get to the semi-final. I don't want to get Brian going on this.
That's a conversation I'm not going to be a part of, because you want me to keep laughing, right?
Yeah, I want you to keep laughing. But the thing is, we all love West Indian cricket. And we all, part of it, us is sad there that they didn't make it. But let's just end it right there, Brian.
We'll leave it right there. Matthew Ford dancing down the wicket from the very first ball, looking to hit big over long on. Not really coming close to that one.
And that is the flavor of the Caribbean cricket, though. First ball, 6 down. I do not care. I will give it a whack.
Oh, you're tempting me. You're tempting me to go back into that conversation.
We'll do it off air sometime.
We may have to do it off air. In the meantime, Netravalkar bowling a spectacular over. Sliced away, third man inside the circle. It runs away down the hill for 4. Welcome runs. That is a moral victory maybe for Saurabh Netravalkar because he found the outside edge of Matthew Ford's bat. But the ball does sail down to deep third for his first boundary.
And Matthew Ford would be as delighted with these 4 runs as he would have been playing a classical cover drive, because at this stage runs are at a premium. 4 runs are 4 runs, and he will take it with both hands.
And it looks the same in the scorebook. So that's
exactly.
the only thing he cares about. And now with 2 balls to go, Matthew Ford just off of his stint in the CPL, the Caribbean Premier League. Tremendous batter, looking to walk across and access the leg side. Not a bad option. Oh, no ball was that? Oh, look at that. There are too many men outside the circle, I believe.
That's a fielding infringement.
My goodness. In fact, wait. We're looking at umpire at this here.
Well, what happened is they sent the third man back, but then that fielder on the onside didn't come inside the ring, so there were too many men outside. Is it a free hit? Did you see the umpire signal a free hit?
I did not see a free hit signal. Let's just see. This shot will tell us whether it was a free hit. Nope. Well,
with the way man
it would have been swinging anyway. So, hold on a second. Free hit. Okay, so we got clarification. It was a dead ball, not a no ball as what we thought. So, just after all of that, a dot ball. And now, 1 ball remaining in over number 16. Ladies and gentlemen, 79 runs on the board. 6 wickets down. Only 24 more, make that 25 balls remaining. Excellent pressure being applied here. And the swing and a miss again. That is the end of over number 16. 4 more to go. 79 for 6. Basically take a break whenever we start.
Plenty of action provided by Matthew Ford, although not much result. But yeah, he kept swinging at every delivery, and that outside edge yielded 1-4 for him, and that's all that came off this over. Do not forget to praise how good Saurabh Netravalkar was with his lines and lengths.
Yes. Now, you asked the question, where are the runs going to come from? And I will point out, Mohamed Mohsin, and you mentioned he can hit big. In a Houston Premier League match earlier this year, Mohamed Mohsin scored some 34 runs from 1 over. So he can hit big. And I have one more data point for you in a second as he faces up to Fanis Madrid. That goes through for a single. That's all they'll get. I also happened to be commentating in a Dallas Premier League it was last year this time. He scored 33 runs from that over. So he's primarily a leg spinning all-rounder, but if he's asked to hit big, he has the capability of hitting big. So it's going to be interesting to see whether he can sort of channel that sort of form. Haven't seen him do it in a while, and certainly didn't do it in the major leagues and hasn't done it in the minor leagues so far, but he can hit big. Huge swipe and a miss by Matthew Ford. Fanis Madri is an excellent bowler. He keeps the ball just out of the hitting zone.
Yeah, he's full of skills and tricks, Fanis Madri. Yeah, but talking about Mohsin, he hails from Peshawar in Pakistan. and he plied his trade in Pakistan domestic cricket before he moved over, and since he's made a name for himself, got those 4 wickets on debut in the Major League Cricket. But at the moment he would need some support from Ford, who's swinging like a rusty gate, haven't made any connection.
Well, he will not get any help from Ford the rest of the day, because Fani Samadri does exactly what you expect him to do. Changes pace at the right moment. Has Matthew Ford swinging in front, well in front of that one, playing all around it, and the furniture gets rearranged. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, 7 wickets are down and we're into the 17th over.
And you made a very, very relevant comment, Brian, when you said Fani Samadri knows how to stay out of the hitting range of the batter, and that is something that is exceptional. You asked me to explain it, I can't, because it may be different on different conditions, on different pitches, but he just simply knows it because he does it everywhere. He comes on in these death overs and he's very hard to get away. So that tells us that he's very intelligent, he knows the conditions and he assesses them pretty quickly and stay out of that hitting arc of the batters, and easily takes care of Matthew Ford.
Boy. So Joshua Trump coming in much later than he'd ordinarily come in. Usually bats around number 3, somewhere between 3 and 5. Coming in here at number 9, simply because of all of the lefty bowlers who are in the Atlanta Lightning lineup. So the Houston Knight Riders wanted to sort of arrange the lineup to create the best matchups. But as it is right now, you're starting to run out of batters, period. Forget who goes where. And Joshua Trump, who led his side this year, the Houston Hurricanes, in the minor leagues in batting average and in aggregate, facing up to Fani Samadri. Oh, short going down the leg side. Let me see. He chopped that on, didn't he? Oh, my goodness. I thought, looking at it live, that it might have ricocheted off of the keeper back onto the stumps, but umpires are sufficiently convinced that that is another wicket in a row by Fani Samadri, 80 for 8.
Yeah, the drums are beating for Atlanta Lightning. This is their trademark celebration, and they were the champions in the inaugural event of this Atlanta Open a couple of years ago, and they're looking in good position here to progress from this group thanks to a wonderful bowling and fielding performance here. Fani Samadri has got 2 and 2. He'll be on a hat-trick. Joshua Trump questioned the umpire's decision just for a brief moment before walking out, but I did think it just ricochets off his pads onto the stump, and that was enough to send him packing. 80 for 8. It's getting bad to worse for the Knight Riders.
My goodness, we were talking about what a good score might be, and we're talking about somewhere around 150, 160. 140 would have been probably par. 5 overs ago, we were thinking maybe if you get to 120, you're in a game or in with a shout. They may be doing well just to get to 100 from here. And all of a sudden, I don't know that you'd have expected that Mehdi Hassan would be coming in over number 17 to try to stave off a hat trick.
And the biggest target for Knight Riders right now would be just to bat out their 20 overs.
Oh my goodness.
See, get to a total. Looking highly unlikely though, the way wickets have tumbled in the last.
Slower through the air with the hat-trick ball, but for Mehdi Hassan, he's happy to just defend that and run through for a single. So brilliant bowling. Fani Samadri, of course, leading the league, the minor leagues in wickets a couple of seasons ago, where, correct me if I'm wrong, Shah Faisal, he was the most valuable player in the league. Is that right?
That was last year.
That was last year.
Second season.
And here you see more evidence of that. 1 run coming from over number 17, and he took 2 wickets. Brilliant, brilliant bowling. And that is the end of 81 for 8.
Go ahead. You want to say something? Yeah, and it tells you also that in this league, I mean, in this format rather, you don't have to have express pace or mystery spin to survive. Fani Samadri, with his pace, really knows the art of assessing what the batters are doing and staying one step ahead of them.
I would actually go as far as to say that if you had to choose one, pace or accuracy, better under these conditions in this format than does pace. Pace without accuracy goes for 12 or 14 runs and over. If you're Fani Samadri and you can land the ball exactly in the right spots, you take a bunch of wickets. Good delivery. First ball to Mohammed Mohsin. They get one. In fact, they come back for a second. What's the call here? He did make it without much fuss. It was close, but he got through for that second run. Now they need runs. They need urgency. You can expect to see them sprinting between the wickets.
Yeah, but that run-out decision, the umpire got himself into a great position and immediately he ruled the batter not out. That was good piece of running there. They need plenty more of that, Brian. Put bat to ball and run hard if you can't find the boundaries.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
And don't get out too at the same time.
Yeah, there is that. So Netravalkar, of course, bowling his last over. Mohammed Mohsin playing it into the offside for a single. Couple of major leaguers attacking each other. Now, you are at the stage where you have only another 16 balls remaining. You only have 84 runs on the board. What kind of score can you hope to end up with? If you go at the equivalent of 10 and over from here, you're at 111. A run of ball beats you. So you're going to have to do something to try to manufacture some runs. And again, Mohammed Mohsin is a big hitter, but he only has 4 from 4 so far. So let's see how far he can get. Hits this one toward the sweeper, in fact, toward cow corner. Fumble, and they'll get a second. So that will irritate the bowling side. Ball's played directly into the area at cow corner. A little bit of a fumble means that they get a second run.
Yeah, but the problem Mohsin has had, every time he's taken a single, he's not seen the strike for next 4 or 5 deliveries, and at the same time he's been losing his partners. So is it time that he keeps the strike and try to go big himself? Take the innings deep though. That'll be a difficult task.
Top edge. Nobody there. Fielder running back from slip can only watch it go into the boundary as it goes away for yet another welcome boundary. Believe it or not, we're into over number 18. That is only the 6th 4 struck for the day. And in fact, struck might be overstating it.
Yeah, out of 6.
Maybe 2 were struck and 4 were top edges.
Yeah, I can remember the last 2. They were both of edges. Matthew Ford hit one, and now this one from Mohsin. So
Takes Mohsin into double figures though. Now he has another 2 deliveries in this over to try to manufacture more runs. Good delivery, and he's looking for 2 here. You know he's coming back for 2. No, they changed their mind. That is great work in the deep. That is Ravendra Prasad, who does really well to limit the damage to 1 run.
yeah, he really covered the ground and a clean pickup and throw.
Yes.
Wonderful work, because Mohsin was looking for 2. But I think his partner, Mehdi, should do well to just block that delivery out and don't lose his wicket. Because Mohsin wants to be on the strike for the last 2 overs to get them to close to that 110 or 115. I don't think they would be enough, but still.
I think he heard you. Mohsin wants some of that. Mohsin will not take a single here. Listening to the great Shah Faisal, Mohammed Mohsin chooses to remain at the non-striker's end. Of course, at the end of the over, that means he'll be on strike to start this next over. Last 12 balls coming up. The score is 91 for 8.
Last 12 deliveries of the innings. Although I said Mohsin wanted the strike for the remainder of these 12 deliveries, but his task won't be easy against Fani Samadri,
Nope.
who excels in these conditions.
It's one of those deals where be careful what you ask for because you might get it. He does get the strike, but he's facing up against about the most wily bowler that he could face in Fani Samadri. Hammered it, but straight to long off. Straight to Raymond Reefer. Coming back for the second run. Maybe you have nothing to lose by coming back for that second run. The idea is to have Mohamed Mohsin on strike, and you'll even potentially take the risk at a run out or of a run out at the non-striker's end to get Mohsin back on strike.
But all the credit to Mehdi Hassan because he made the second run possible. He was running to the danger end.
Yep. And
he was so comfortable that Reefer had to throw at the striker's end, which is another 20 yards away from him. It was a long throw.
And again, Reefer after it cannot get to it. So welcome runs here for Mohamed Mohsin. Again, we talked about what his hitting power is like. Hasn't exactly scored 30 runs in one over yet, but he does have the capability of doing that. And this 4 goes straight down the ground.
6 of the first 2 deliveries, and that's what good running can do. Got Mohsin back on strike, and he really hammered that. He was always reaching out for that though, because Samadri once again kept the ball away from him. Mohsin, being a tall lad with long levers, got to it and got enough bat on it.
Now, interestingly, see what I just saw, because Mohsin came dancing down the track. Now, Lahiri Malanta gets the helmet and he's up to the stumps. So Mohsin won't be able to do that anymore. Hammered, but there's a man out there. Oh, dying on him, bouncing right before it gets to him. So Mohamed Mohsin's heart might have been in his mouth for a split second there, but luckily for him, it lands in front of the fielder at mid-wicket.
Yeah, once again, good cricket though. He put his body on the line. Fielder at mid-wicket. But Mohsin has got one and now he's off strike. Was watching at the ball, didn't even see that who wasn't running with intent, either Mohsin or Mehdi, because Mehdi was looking for 2, and there was enough time because that wasn't a clean pickup because it was bouncing awkwardly in front of that fielder. But nonetheless, just the single, and now Mehdi will have to do some more good work.
Well, Mehdi Hassan, 4 from 4 so far. This is great bowling. Fani Samadri firing that Yorker in there. Mehdi Hassan not able to get it past the bowler himself. A precious dot ball. 2 balls remaining here in over number 19. Something has got to give here, Shah Faisal.
Yeah, it's getting tricky for Mehdi what to do because he don't want to take a single and then leave Mohsin for 1 delivery. Can he be brave enough and chance his arm to get his team to 100 and still be there at the end of this over, allowing Mohsin 1 more go in the final over? Tricky.
Oh, I think he got enough of that one, or did he? No, he did not. Oh, I'll tell you what. It is also the case that the fielder at mid-wicket thought he got enough of it because he took 3 steps back and then coming in at the end of that misjudgment and not able to hold on to it. So 2 precious runs. Again, you don't care how they go.
100 has been brought up as well in the meantime, and now Mohsin and Mehdi having a little word. What is the tactic here for Mehdi? I think it's nothing to lose for him on this one. He has the license.
Exactly the point. They need an even number of runs here, 2, 4, or 6. So you may see him swing for the fences here.
Yeah, the best result could be a educated edge, as they call it.
Oh, there's
and he will get 2.
Gotta get 2. There is the educated edge you were looking for. That is great work. That works out exactly the way that you wanted it to, because you get an even number of runs, which means that Mohamed Mohsin is back on strike, and he will be on strike to start over number 20. Eventful over, 102 for 8.
Well, Mohsin needing some attention. Mehdi Hassan, who's done very well being number 10. He batted with common sense. He ran with courage and decisive intent. That means that his side is over 100. Would it be enough? That's another matter, but you have to give credit to these two to have tried their best. The ninth wicket fell at 80, so 22 valuable runs there.
Well, these runs coming in at the end of the over are precious, absolutely like gold, and it's going to be interesting to see here. Raymond Reefer, who bowled well so far, 3 overs, none for 22, but those figures are a little bit deceptive because he's found the edge a number of times, and he's now going to be bowling to Mohamed Mohsin, who has all the license in the world to swing for the fences here. Interesting passage of play coming up. Driven to extra cover, no run, and Mohamed Mohsin turns down that run.
Yeah, that makes sense. He was looking to open up that offside because 4 sweepers are on the onside. So there's plenty of gaps there on the offside, and this is what Mohsin was trying, but Reefer is very, very experienced.
Oh, yes.
Can count on his experience and his skill.
Great bowling, and they will not. Oh, they come back for the second. Oh, that is going to irritate everybody. And listen to Raymond Reefer express his frustration.
They've got 2 to mid off. Cannot believe it. It's just comedy of errors. And that throw to the striker's end, the keeper with a fancy backhand flick, because it was a wide throw.
So the ball has not yet left the circle, and they got 2 runs.
It's incredible.
Last 4. Full toss, lofted in the air. Reefer is calling for it himself. He will not drop this. That is a great catch. That is a really, really great catch. It stayed in the air forever. He, I think, was the only one who could have gotten to that because Long On was back on the boundary, would not have gotten there in time. But the experienced campaigner for the West Indies judges it well and takes a really good catch, 104 for 9.
Well, he decided to take matters into his own hand.
Yes.
And just shouted nice and early, stay away everybody. And although in the swirling wind under grey clouds, you know, that white ball can be difficult to see.
Yep.
And in his follow through as well. But he judged it perfectly. And safe hands, he's got bucket hands. So you're talking about him not getting a wicket despite bowling well. Oh, that's just reward for him. And now he can see the end, he can close out the innings. Because number 11 will be on strike.
Carmelo Rue in, and I would imagine he's a left arm fast bowler, but he's a right-handed batter, and so that brings in the element for Raymond Reefer of being able to slant the ball across him. So look for deep third. He might come into play here, but more than anything else, I think you're going to find relief that Mohamed Mohsin, who probably was the man most capable of doing damage toward the back end of the innings, is back in the pavilion.
Number 11 on strike.
It does go down to deep third. That's a single. And that brings Mehdi Hassan on strike. So Mehdi Hassan would not have been thinking that with 2 balls to go in over number 20 that he was going to be called upon to get as many runs as he could. But a brilliant bowling performance so far by the Lightning, looking to close out strongly here. Raymond Reefer, 3.4 overs, 1 for 24. And again, he's bowled much better than those numbers would indicate because several runs came off of the edge, and his leadership and his intensity are also rubbing off on his teammates. Here is the penultimate ball of the innings, right back to the bowler himself. 2 left arm pacers give each other a fist bump. Ultimately, it is a dot ball, so 1 ball remaining here in this this innings. Brilliant bowling performance so far by the Lightning, and Raymond Reefer looking to close this out. He's calling for 2. He has nothing to lose by going for 2. The throw goes to the keeper's end. They get 2. How valuable would those 2 runs be? But the bigger point is that you've gotten through an entire T20 innings with one of the strongest sides in the competition, and you've only been able to put 105 runs on the board, Shah Faisal.
And just 6 boundaries, as I recall it. That is an incredible T20 innings, but you have to give credit to the Lightning for their bowling. They have been sensational. The likes of Reefer, Fani Samadri, Saurabh Natrawalkar, they've all come to the party in this crucial game, and they've really done well. And Atlanta Lightning, remember, had to win this game to go through the next round, and they put themselves in excellent position after the first half of this game. 107 for 9. You would want to chase any day of the week, although it is a funny game. But we'll have to see what unfolds when the run chase begins in just about 10 minutes, and we'll be right back with that.
So welcome back to the Paramveers Sports Complex in Atlanta, Georgia. Ladies and gentlemen, the UMMC Knight Riders, one of the best stacked teams in this entire tournament, have just been reduced to shambles by a brilliant bowling performance from the Atlanta Lightning. And that means that the Lightning now need the small matter of 108 runs to get for victory. It will not be easy, but you get the sense that with the ability of the bowlers in the UMMC Knight Riders outfit, they will make it a game. I don't think they have enough runs to defend, and again, you only need to score at the rate of 5.4 runs and over. So a runner ball wins this in the 12th over, in the 18th over. But the bowlers are excellent for the UMMC Knight Riders. You're opening the bowling now with the left arm pace of Usman Shinwari. You have left arm pacer Carmelo Rue standing at short fine leg. My sense is that he may open the bowling from the other end. You have the brilliance of Matthew Ford. Matthew Ford is an excellent all-rounder. You saw him bat earlier. Didn't make much with the bat, but one of the more outstanding bowlers in any form of cricket, particularly in franchise-based cricket. You have the spin of Ali Sheikh. You have the spin of Mohamed Mohsin. And even somebody like Mukhtar Ahmed or Nauman Anwar can turn the arm over. So we're nowhere near being finished. Here we go. This is the first ball played into the offside for a single. If you are Lahiru Milanta, you can do exactly that the rest of the way, and you win this game in the 18th over. So he's immediately off the mark, and it's now Unmuk Chand who is on strike. Unmuk Chand taking things from where you are right now. Unmuk Chand has essentially gotten off to a rocky start in this competition. Hasn't scored much, but everyone knows the class that he has, and he is able to take on any attack. Played for years, of course, for the Indian national team at the U19 level. One of the shining young stars in that lineup. Another would be Harmeet Singh, another would be Smith Patel, all of whom play their cricket here in the United States at the moment. Now facing up to the pace of Usman Shinwari. That's a good delivery, bang on target. And you're starting out well here, Usman Shinwari. The idea is you are going to have to take wickets. You cannot win this game, for example, by holding the Atlanta Lightning to, say, 98 for 6. The only way that this game does not end in an Atlanta Lightning victory is if you bowl them out. So you have to take wickets. Usman Shinwari will know that. He's a wicket-taking option, definitely at the top of the order, bowling very quick left arm pace, and that angle across the right-hander is why you see slip position in Nauman Anwar right now. There is the ball that goes across the right-hander. That's the one that we're looking for. That is a great ball by Usman Shinwari, and then he takes a few extra steps down and looks quizzically and with a wry grin at the bemused Unmuk Chand. Once again, this is Brian Walters with you, and I happen to be here for the moment by myself. You saw and heard Mustafa Himani earlier on, and then happy to have been joined by Shah Faisal. For the moment, I'm by myself, so if you have any questions and or comments, please drop them in the YouTube chat section. Good delivery. Again, 4 on the trot so far to Unmuk Chand. And really good bowling so far. From this standpoint, you know that you need to build pressure. You know that you need to take wickets. One usually follows the other. Building pressure usually happens first, and then you take wickets. But as I started saying, you absolutely feel free to jump into the YouTube chat section and say as many things as you'd like. Whatever I can use on air, I will. And if I can't, well, I won't. Usman Shinwari in the middle of a brilliant first over here. Unmuk Chand on strike. Advancing down the track, hits it straight down Carmel Rue's throat. At deep third, Unmuk Chand going for the big swipe. Again, singles wins you this game. Unmuk Chand did not want to take the singles. He wanted to take on Usman Shinwari. But that man outside of the circle at deep third, Carmel Rue judges it to perfection. Takes a good sharp low catch. 1 for 1. Absolutely stunning turn of events here. This is a low-scoring game. The only way that you win this game as the Knight Riders is if you bowl out the Atlanta Lightning. Well, unfortunately for the Atlanta Lightning, Unmuk Chand just assisted you in bowling him out by advancing down the track and taking on Usman Shinwari. The resultant edge gobbled up by Carmel at deep third. So, first wicket down. I said earlier in the earlier match, you don't get to 10 wickets without first taking one. So that is the first to fall. Usman Shinwari finds the outer edge of Unmuk Chand's bat, and all of a sudden, you have the situation where you're going to be struggling to essentially steady the ship, because when you lose your captain and in all likelihood your best batter, that tends to have a debilitating effect in the rest of the lineup. So Usman Shinwari with a wicket, 1 wicket already down, and all of a sudden you're now looking at a new batter having to come to the crease. And that new batter is going to be Shamar Springer. Shamar Springer, my goodness, you're going to truly find the opportunity to take advantage of where you are at this point. What I mean by that is you only need a run a ball. And with only needing a run a ball, my sense is that singles would be what you should be looking for. Good delivery, bang on target. That is the end of the first over. Over number 1 in the books. The score is 1 for 1. So 1 for 1 after the first over. And the man who took the catch off of the 5th ball of that over, Carmel Rue, the big left arm fast bowler, will take up the attack from the southern. So, question side, Jaffer Imam wants to know, what do you think is going wrong for a champion batter like Unmuk Chand? I have no insight into what is going on with Unmuk Chand side, so all I will say is you've heard the phrase, form is temporary, class is permanent. Unmuk Chand is a classy batter, and every once in a while as a batter you'll go through a bad run of form. It was not too long ago, in fact it was just last year, that he was among the top 3 batters in the entire minor league system, and then 2 years ago he led the entire minor leagues in batting. Get back to that shortly. Carmel Rue on strike, or with the ball. First one fired down the leg side. That's not what you want from your big fast bowler. Umpire Anvesh. Anvesh, I am so sorry. I'm going to eventually say your name properly. Anvesh Achanta with the one signaling that one going down the leg side. So Carmel Rue knows he cannot afford to give away any runs here. So he's going to have to be on that off stump line. First one going down the leg side. Great ball, and he's gone. He gets the ball right this time on the right line, the perfect length, catches Lahir Milanta on the crease, and that ball kisses off the top edge and into the gloves of wicketkeeper Jaskaran Malhotra. Oh my goodness. 2 overs in, make that 1 over and 2 balls in. The score is 2 for 2. Tremendous start here Absolutely unbelievable. This ball kissing off the outer edge of the bat. A healthy edge through to wicket keeper Jaskaran Malhotra, and he snaps it up with glee. You hear the celebration all around the ground because you know that this is going to be a really tricky situation. And all of a sudden, ladies and gentlemen, you see where you are right now. It is the case that the big fast bowler Carmelo, after a wayward delivery start out with, fires one down the leg side there, but immediately finds the right line. And all of a sudden, the second wicket is down. So, where are we now? We are looking at Raymond Reefer, who batted and has batted as high as number 3 for the West Indies cricket team. He's definitely an all-rounder. I would probably classify him as a bowling all-rounder, but he can bat well. Again, you have to be able to bat if you're batting at number 3 in tests. And you may think that he needs to treat this like it is a test match. Carmelo now into Raymond Reefer, working it off the hips for a single. That is Shinwari. Nope, in fact, that is Wilson down there at deep backward square leg. Reefer immediately off the mark with a single, but 3 for 2. A couple of body blows landed already. And look, if you are the UMMC Knight Riders, you have to tell yourself, we just need 8 more wickets. The Atlanta Lightning still need 105 runs. So they are much further away from victory than we are. So give me 8 good balls and let's get out of here. That's what you'd be telling yourself if you're the UMMC Knight Riders. On the other hand, Carmelo knows that he needs to keep up the pressure. Good delivery outside the line of off. So Raymond Reefer, in addition to being a good batter, has the advantage of being a lefty. So Carmelo would be looking to curl the ball into the right-handers and threatening the stumps and the pads. But for the lefty, that ball will be leaving him, so he has to have a different plan of attack. Plus the whole idea of bowling, changing your line between the lefty and the righty, is something that has to be considered as well. Gets this one too straight though, and it's worked off the hip. In fact, it goes all the way for 4. So that is a classy strike by Shamar Springer, jumping inside the line and working it off his hips. That ball running away down the hill for 4. Welcome runs. You absolutely welcome these runs. 2 deliveries remaining here in the first over, being bowled by Carmelo. And boy, I tell you, you want to make sure that you take advantage of any scoring opportunities. This one, Carmelo getting just a little too straight, going down the leg side. Well played. That's at least a couple more runs through the offside. And so 6 coming from the over so far, with 1 ball still to come. In fact, make that 8 coming from the over so far, with 1 still to come. And the psychological barrier that you have just crossed is that the target is now under 99. Well played into the offside. Matthew Ford at mid-off is there to make sure that they only get 1 run. A successful over. Successful in the sense that you've taken a wicket, Carmelo, but you've also conceded 8 runs. Make that 9 runs, including the wide. So you certainly want the wicket that you've taken, but you have to continue applying pressure to bowl out the Atlanta Lightning, because the game is over with otherwise. So an interesting finish coming up. 10 for 2 after 2. So just to finish the thought, Syed, about what is wrong with Unmukt Chand, as I said, form is temporary. at mid wicket and pick up and throw at the stumps. Mehdi Hassan is the man standing right now with his hand on his shoulders, on his at his chin, because he knows had that been a direct. So last thing on this side. So if he's struggling in any way, it's sometimes that every edge will go into hand, and sometimes when you're batting, he came down the track. If he has a good run of form going, maybe that slice goes a little bit to the left or to the right, and it falls in safely, and he gets to keep on batting. Sometimes you get a ball that just has your name on it, and those things sometimes tend to amplify each other. So I don't think there's anything, structurally wrong with his game. He just sometimes have a run of bad luck, and sometimes that can last for a while. Oh, cheeky, opening the face and running this down to deep third on purpose. Certainly did that on purpose, opening the face there. And this is really all that you need to do. If you are the Atlanta Lightning, just keep picking up those singles. You literally can win this game if you just get a single off of every ball the rest of the way. You need right now another 96 runs. You have another 100. Hitting the deck hard. At his fastest, he was around 91, 92 miles an hour. I don't know that he's still that fast, but he's certainly plenty fast for this level. I need to direct Mohammed Mohsin where to stand. Mohsin, you're blocking me, sir. Can you move to your left? Last delivery. Well played. Go for a quick single, and they'll get that single. That is the end of the over. A productive over. Productive in the sense that you only need make that 5.5 runs and over. You've gotten 4 wickets, make 4 runs. No wickets have fallen, and you've used up now 2 of Usman Shinwari's overs. So essentially, you have to sort of plot the way that you go about your attack here. Successful from that standpoint. 3 overs up, 14 for 2. 14 for 2 is the score. Matthew Ford with ball in hand. Now bowling to Raymond Reefer. And if you've never seen Matthew Ford bowl before, he has a very entertaining several steps at the top of his run-up before he starts advancing on his way towards the crease. I really wonder, maybe we should ask him one day, how did that ever develop? Because he's relatively unique in that sense. I don't know that I've seen anyone else do that, but it really, maybe it's one way of distracting the batter. That's what I'll go with. But really entertaining the way. Here it comes. Pay attention here. Right there. Oh, here's the second delivery. Good ball. Fizzing past the outside edge. Shamar Springer not able to lay a bat on that one at all. That is a great ball by the young, talented pace bowler from the Caribbean, from Barbados. And in fact, there's a couple of Bajans here right now. Maybe three. Shamar Springer may be from Barbados. Let me confirm that in a second. But here's Matthew Ford again. Played into the offside for no run. In fact, they do get a run. And now they'll get a second run. Oh. And in fact, that is exactly the case. Shamar Springer is from Barbados, so that makes three Bajans in the middle of the action right now. The bowler and both batters are from Barbados. But that does not matter one bit. In fact, it might matter to the from the standpoint that they all probably know each other's games exactly. So pay attention to whatever extent one might be able to exploit the knowledge that was gained from watching the other. Good ball, fizzing past the outside edge. Matthew Ford seems to have picked up a couple of yards of pace since the last time I saw him bowl, because he's looking really good here. And that ball is thudding into keeper Jaskaran Malhotra's gloves. This is a great way to start really bowling well. But once again, you don't have very many runs to play with, so you absolutely have to strike. You do not have the ability of just being able to absorb deliveries. That's well played down to deep third for a single, because what you're looking for right now is to take wickets. So looking at where you are right now, ultimately with one ball remaining in over number 4, you have 18 runs on the board. 18 runs on the board, you're scoring at the rate of 4.7 and over, and the required rate is sneaking up slightly. That's a good ball, bang on target, but well defended by Raymond Reefer. So the all Barbados matchup ends with 4 runs coming from Matthew Ford's first over, and at the end of 4, the score is 18 for 2. $18 for 2, and this is an interesting question that Shivam Sharma asks. Which team do you think Unmuk should play for next year in minor league, considering his move to Dallas? Xphoria or the Mustangs? What an absolutely great question. I love that question for a number of reasons. Well, if he plays for the Mustangs, the question would be asked, who does he replace? Because their top order is absolutely stacked. Top order is Andreas House, it is Anwar, it is Sujit Gowda, it is Corey Anderson, it is Ali Sheikh, it is, I'm missing a name, or I know I'm not thinking of it right now. But their top orders. You have Muk Chan joining that lineup, that there'd be several games where somebody doesn't get to bat. And so I don't know if you would like as a batter, whether you're Unmuk Chand or one of the others who would have to move down the order to make room for him. The other element is if he goes to the Exforia Giants, and assuming that Harmeet Singh is still there and still the captain, he would be rejoining him. Short delivery, good sharp ball, my goodness. That is a good-looking bouncer by Carmela Rue. Ducking out of the way that time is Shamar Springer. So keep an eye on that, because that was a good sharp ball. The typical delivery that you see from Carmela Rue is the ball curling back, swinging back into the right-hander. But that good sharp ball, sharp bouncer from over the wicket may have done some damage psychologically. Look at Ali Sheikh. You cannot run on him. Anything that is played, again, within the same zip code, he has it covered. So back to the thought. If he went to the Exforia Giants, he would be reunited with his former teammate, U19 level Harmeet Singh. He'd also be reunited with Smith Patel. So that seems to me to be a better fit. And that would be the thinking, I would think. And I would think also that just chemistry-wise, you have a well-settled side. Oh, you get it past Ali Sheikh here. It goes out into the deep. Won the second one, but it's not there. So just you have a very well-settled side in the Mustangs. Doing very well. Just won the championship. And I don't know that you'd want to change anything. So just for those reasons, I would think that it would be a better fit if Unmuk Chand were to go to the Exforia Giants. But I think that's a really interesting thought. And in fact, Shivam, if you don't mind, let me know your thoughts, because I'd love to hear what you think about that as well. Watch for Carmela Rue here. Good over so far. 19 on the board. Short and defended in front of the bowler himself for no run. So bowling really well. The first ball of the over in particular was a wicked bouncer that went right past the face of Shamar Springer. And now we'll see how this over is closed out. Carmela Rue bowling well so far. 1.4 overs, 1 for 10. Great delivery to dismiss Lahiri Malanta. And generally bowling as well as you'd imagine. He is generally just a brilliant, brilliant bowler. 1 ball to go here in over number 5. So a similarly slow start with the bat for the Atlanta Lightning as had the Knight Riders. And so looking at where you are now, at this exact same stage, the Knight Riders had 21 runs. The Lightning have 19. In the air, but nobody there. Goes all the way down to Saif Badar on the boundary. Good strong throw comes in to the bowler's end. That is the end of over number 5. At the end of 5, the score is 20 for 2. $20 for 2, the Atlanta Lightning chasing a well undercooked total of 108 for victory. But they've struggled to get the ball off the square. And a good bowling attack so far. Carmela Rue has bowled 2 overs, only conceded 11 runs, taken a wicket. Matthew Ford bowling 1 over, where he only conceded 4 runs, and he's about to start his second. Usman Shinwari with 2 overs. 2 overs, and he's already taken a wicket as well. Matthew Ford around the wicket. Slow ball, by goodness, that's well bowled. Well deceived. The ball was slow through the air, and he had Reefer playing in front of his body. The ball looping in the air towards Shubham Ranjani at mid-off. Luckily for Raymond Reefer, it did not carry. But a nervy start here. Raymond Reefer not quite getting control on that one. And Matthew Ford, sometimes when you have such a difficult over or such a difficult position, when you've lost a few wickets, you know that you need to keep going, but sometimes that makes you a little bit makes it hard for you to score. But if you get a ball on your hip, you can work that off down to deep fine leg for 4. Matthew Ford getting that one just a little too straight, and Springer only too happy to jump inside the line and work it off of his hips down to fine leg for boundary. So that absolutely helps you, and Matthew Ford knows that that ball needs to be outside the line of off stump. Let's see him make the adjustment here. Hammered away for 4. That is a brilliant strike. He certainly made the adjustment by not going down the leg side, but he may have overcorrected by sending that one too far outside the line of off. It was also short, and it was hammered away. Absolute top shot by Shamar Springer, running away for 4. So consecutive boundaries, and it feels like the Atlanta Lightning have weathered the storm and are able to sort of steady the ship. Springer now 21 from 17 with 3 boundaries. Raymond Reefer keeping things under control at his end, 6 from 10. Good delivery, wanted a single there and not going to get it. So all of a sudden, you're going to see here what UMMC Night Riders are made of. Bearing in mind, it's actually a must-win game. Backward. As a Night Riders are at the top of the heap. 2 wins, no losses. The Atlanta Lightning right behind them, 1 win and 1 loss. The Atlanta Lightning, if they win this, then both teams will be at 2 wins and 1 loss. But net run rate would then be the decider between the Atlanta Lightning. In fact, among all of them, because the Raiders Unlimited, depending on what else they do, we'll get to them in a second. Played off the back foot, no run. So just to finish the thought, the Atlanta Lightning and the UMMC Night Riders are both in, or would both be tied if this game ends in a victory for the Lightning. But the extent to which they win, meaning net run rate figures have to come into consideration. As of right now, the UMMC Night Riders have a net run rate of 1.25. The Atlanta Lightning has a net run rate of 0.165. So even if they are tied at 2 wins and 1 loss each, the Night Riders should win unless there's just a tremendous difference in terms of victory. And I don't think that that's going to be the case. So the net run rate isn't going to change that much that the Atlanta Lightning would be above the UMMC Night Riders. That means that the Atlanta Lightning will be essentially, depending on what the Raiders do, either the second team or potentially they'll be the third team because of what the Raiders Unlimited are going to do. So a lot of different permutations, but the name of the game here is that the Atlanta Lightning absolutely have to win. So I talked right through that commercial break, but this is a start by now Shubham Ranjani. 29 without loss. I'm sorry, 29 for 2. That first delivery bowled by Shubham Ranjani is outside off and no run. And by the way, with the end of that last over, that is the end of the power play. So they can be more defensive if they choose to. The UMMC Night Riders, as of right now, they have chosen to leave everyone inside the circle with the exception of 3. So there's a long on and long off. And there's a deep mid-wicket. But at the same time, my goodness, you heard the sound of that ball that flew in this direction from the other field. And that is always going to be something to pay attention to. So in the meantime, former South African international Dane Pete, who is actually coming over here to retrieve the ball that was sent on the other side. So we're sitting with our action. Well, I have just been corrected by a good friend, and I appreciate him letting me know. Good. A good friend, Orlando Baker, the former USA captain, has just sent me a message saying that the batter is actually Shamar Brooks and not Shamar Springer. So that explains a lot, even though it does call into question why the scoreboard says Shamar Springer. Maybe that should be corrected sometime soon. Thanks, Bix. So anyway, here we are. 31 for 2 after that single. One ball remaining here in over number 7. Another 78. Make that 77 runs to go the rest of the way. And Brooks on strike. And this is going to be the Muhammad at cover, and that is no. In fact, there's now one more ball left in the over. 31 for 2. The scoreboard is shuffling around a little bit, but either way. That over number 7. So that's the end of over number 7. My apologies. So that is the end of 7. The score is 32 for 2. Going to spin now. Mohamed Mohsen into the attack. Carmel Rue throw, but just a single. So starting, as I've always said, you know where the ball is going to go based on where Ali Sheikh is fielding. Ali Sheikh is currently fielding about 10 yards plus at long. Ball in this direction is going to be an adventure, and I think I know exactly how it's going to end up. In the meantime, Mohamed Mohsen, really good spinner, turns the ball both ways, generally bowls leg spin, but is able to move it in both directions. That's a good run, absolutely good run taken. And once again, you can do it from here in singles. You absolutely can do it in singles if you are the Atlanta Lightning. And as of right now, you get the sense that that's exactly what they want to attempt to do. So 2 deliveries into over number 8. Shamar Brooks, 23 from 22, looking to sweep. Thinking about it as the umpire. Umpire thinks it is going to go. Umpire says that it will be bouncing over the top. Anvesh Achanta, my goodness, Anvesh, I'm so sorry. Anvesh Achanta figures that this one is just bouncing over the top. Thought about it for a while, as most good umpires do, but then it eventually decided that this is bouncing over the top. Oh, that did not go where Raymond Reefer was playing. It runs away down the hill. My goodness, it goes away for 4. Oh, in fact, it goes for byes. 4 byes right through Jaskaran Malhotra. Welcome runs. But believe it or not, this is the first extras in the game. So with the ball so far, very well bowled by the UMMC Knight Riders, but Jaskaran Malhotra not able to collect that one, and it sails past the bowler, goes away past the keeper rather, goes away for 4. 2 balls remaining, yes, in a very eventful over. 38 for 2 so far, off the back foot, forcing it square. There's at least 2 here, you would think. Nope, just 1. Good strong throw, beautiful work in the deep, and we'll see exactly where we end up from here. Now, given that Mustangs, Shivam Sharma says, given that Mustangs batting didn't click to expectations, he would add a lot of value. Didn't click to expectations. Were we watching the same games? Shivam, I don't know that I would agree with that premise. And that is the end of the over. I'll get back to that in a second, Shivam. That is the end of over number 8. The score is 39 for 2. Jaskaran Malhotra, he'll get a couple of runs. A false shot induced by Shubham Ranjani. Jaskaran Malhotra seemed to just mistime his jump. Jumping to get that one, it appeared that he was on the way back down. At the same time, the ball was passing his glove. My goodness, a big chance there that could have made a big difference had he been able to collect that one. Thick edge off of the bat of Shamar Brooks. And it is now Shubham Ranjani. Second over underway. We'll see how close he comes here, because that might be a game-changing type of an innings. That is clipped away into the deep. It's going to race across the boundary. What a diving stop out there at deep extra cover. That is an excellent piece of work to save 2 runs. So runs are coming thick and fast. A couple runs from each of the first 2 deliveries in this over. ninth over here. Now 65 runs needed in the next 70 balls. Worked into the deep, just a single. That is Mukhtar Ahmed down there on the boundary. And again, I keep saying it, you can get there in one second, Shifam. Given that the Mustangs batting didn't click to expectations, I do know that I agree with that. In fact, I covered several of their games this year, and I completely disagree with you, particularly when they're back. In fact, they played much of the second half of the season without their captain, Corey Anderson. At the time, Corey Anderson was not in, or he was at the top of the heap in terms of not just the top scorer for his team, but top scorer in the entire league. Led the league in sixes. I'm pretty sure he ended the season with the league lead in sixes, and he didn't play about the final 6 games of the tournament. So that's one person who you would think would be coming back. Hamad Azam is the name that I didn't call earlier. He's a tremendous batter, former first-class player in Pakistan. Norman Anwar and Andreas Kraus at the top of the order are tremendous batters. Sujit Gowda, Ali Sheikh. Oh, there's plenty of batting. I will agree 100% that they did not click in the final, and that certainly is something that they would have been concerned with. But I think it's being a little disingenuous to say that they're clicking. Bat did not click. Anyway, that is the end of over number 9. The score after 9 is 46 for 2. Mohamed Mohsin continuing bowling now to Raymond Reefer. Thank you for the would be still has 2 overs. I'm interested in seeing what he does with his remaining 2 overs. Really, I'm interested in seeing how he's used the rest of the way. That is Carmel Root. And so a long way to go here. But you get the sense that these two have stemmed the tide. Wrapping him on the pad. Umpire raises the finger and he is gone. Okay, so my apologies. I had looked away just for a split second. Didn't exactly see what happened, but I heard the thud of the ball onto pad, and I believe that was given out LBW. I'll confirm in our own internal system here shortly. We'll see exactly what happened, but I believe that is a dismissal. Certainly he's dismissed. The only question is how did it happen, and I'll confirm that as soon as we can. I'll be able to see that on our own internal review system here in just a minute. Give me just a second. Just looking here, Mohamed Mohsin getting it full, absolutely full and on the pads. In fact, that was a previous delivery. So give us just a second. I'll get back with you as soon as I can. Anyway, big picture is that Raymond Reefer, who's batted very well, has been dismissed. And he will have to take the long walk back to the pavilion. And more than anything else at this stage, a wobble that has taken place. 48 for 3 is the score. And you're looking to see whether or not you can continue. Okay, now I see what happened. My apologies. It actually edged off the inside edge of the bat onto the pad and then onto the stumps. So officially he was bowled. Raymond Reefer. I think you will see that exactly what the scorecard is reflected. And now the batter new to the crease is Jesse Bhutan coming in to join Shamar Brooks. Shamar Brooks joining up after batting really well with Raymond Reefer, has 29 from 28 with 3 fours, but that brings Jesse Bhutan to the crease, about to face his first ball. 3 deliveries away from being halfway through the innings. Paddled around the corner, Mohsin getting this one 2 straight, and it's going to go for a couple. Important runs here. You're looking to pick up singles and doubles. And he might have been able to hear Matthew Forbes now. Come on, come on, come on. Fardin Kibria, Big Reefer can hit a ball. Well, he can hit a ball. I have seen him hit before. Unfortunately for him, he won't be doing any more hitting today. Here's Mohamed Mohsin, slower through the air, good delivery, and it's played into the covers for no run. That is Matthew Ford. Now 1 ball remaining here before we're at the halfway stage. You need another 58 runs from 61 balls. Oh, looking to wind up and go big, and only awkwardly playing that one into the covers for no run. So that is the end of over number 10. You're halfway through the innings in terms of the length of time and the number of deliveries. You still have another 58 runs to get from 60 balls with 3 wickets in hand. It feels that the Knight Riders and the Lightning are going to come down to the wire. And if you ask me, as of this stage, to guess who is going to win, I would probably guess the Lightning by a nose. Only just by a nose. We'll be right back. So we're innings and new bowler. Mehdi Hassan has the responsibility now of attempting to build pressure. Left arm figure spinner lofted down into the deep. What an effortless strike. That is a truly elegant shot. Very little flourish. You almost didn't realize that he'd hit it as well, Brooks, because he just elevated that ball so beautifully over the top of long off. Very little flourish, and the ball sails well over the head of long off for 6. So that swings things back in your direction if you're the Atlanta Lightning. Next delivery. They want a single. They're going to get it. Direct hit there might have been interesting, but Shinwari not able to get it. Ball, boy, I tell you, you can hear balls flying all around the park. And forgive us for every once in a while hesitating to speak because I'm having to look over my shoulder to see if the balls from the other ground are flying in this direction. Several have come over here so far. Anyway, so Bhutan 2 from 3. Shamar Brooks 36 from 30 with 3 fours and a 6. So you were expecting some pressure to be built from this bowling change if you're Captain Jaskaran Malhotra. This one goes down the leg side, and so this is going to be a wide, a bonus run, and a bonus ball. You cannot afford to have any of those. So Mehdi Hassan will know that he needs to get this ball on the right line and the right length. Not only does he give up a bonus run, because it was not collected cleanly by Jaskaran Malhotra, it goes for a couple extra runs. Appeal for stumping. Jaskaran Malhotra really quick behind the stumps. But Shamar Brooks had his foot still grounded firmly behind the crease. So a couple of bonus runs there. We'll see exactly what Mehdi Hassan now around the wicket. Left armer bowling to Brooks. Reverse sweep. Elegant shot that may well get to the boundary. And it does get to the boundary. Well, the reverse sweep is not an easy shot to play, but it was played with perfection that time by Brooks. That ball was on about an off stump line. And the right-hander getting quickly into position, switching, if you will, to make it into a leg stump delivery and sweeping it behind square for 4. So an expensive over on the way here. 63 runs is the score. 13 from this over so far. Still with 2 balls to come. And this is not the result that Jaskaran Malhotra wanted when he went to his left-arm spinner. Now, speaking of left-arm spinners, there is Ali Sheikh, who has not yet bowled. And we'll see exactly when or if Jaskaran Malhotra chooses to go to him. But as of right now, it feels are on cruise control. Only another 44 runs needed. This is a big over on the way. And then 14 runs came from that over. So that is the end of over number 11. The score is 64 for 3. Mohamed Mohsin, 2 overs for 11. $64. Mohsin tosses this one up and it's hammered into the deep. There. Oh my goodness, Namanal running to his right but not able to get all the way there. It was dragged wide of him at long on. And it goes now for 4. So the last couple of overs have been expensive. 14 coming from the over that was just completed. 4 from him coming from the one before that. 7 before that. 7 before that. So when you're only needing to score at the rate of 4 and over, these overs that yield 7, 7, and 14 can really put themselves or put you in a position where you are falling behind the game. Huge hit. This one is catchable though. And straight to Naman Anwar. So maybe Shamar Brooks going to the well once too often. He had the chase under control and chose, really, instead of working the ball around, to try to go out of the park again. Mohamed Mohsin obliges, unfortunately, for picked Naman Anwar in the deep. There's a big wicket. 3 delivers into over number 12. You've gotten rid of the dangerous Shamar Brooks. 45 from 36 with 5 fours and a 6. Mean that Jesse Bhutan, who is now the senior batter, is going to be facing down. He's only 2 from 4 so far. And the new batter coming in is Ravindra Prasad. Ravindra is not going to be happy with having to sort of get started over again. And see there on the board on this your screen, the UMMC Night Riders are in a team huddle because they know how important this portion of the game is. If you're going to get back into this game, you have to take wickets starting right now. And this is a good start if you're Mohamed Mohsin. Mohsin so far into his third over. 3 deliveries into his third over. 2 for 15. So he is a wicket-taking option. And now Ravindra Prasad, more than anything else, I think just needs to make sure that he steadies the ship. So let's see what his approach is going to be. Going here. 6 to 8 for 4. Ravindra Prasad. A little bit of conversation between Mohammed Mohsin and Matthew Ford. You absolutely have to get the field setting right, and you have to know what your plan is here if you're Mohammed Mohsin. Generally a very difficult bowler to score off of. And if you're looking to attack, you can probably do worse, or you can do better than trying to attack Mohammed Mohsin. Here's the first delivery. Oh, he knocked him over first ball. What a great delivery. That was the flipper. It pitched and skidded on and got through the defenses of Ravindra Prasad. So 1 ball gets you a wicket. Ravindra Prasad has to take the long, lonely walk back to the pavilion. And Mohammed Mohsin, I mentioned that he had to take wickets. You have to take wickets from here. And he's done exactly that. His captain will be very happy with that. The iconic celebration from Mohammed Mohsin. You saw him make that celebration a number of times in the major leagues this year. For a very long time was the leading bowler in Major League Cricket for the for the Texas Super Kings. And now 1 delivery away from a hat trick. 2 deliveries remaining in this, his third over. 4 runs from the over already. It was from the very first ball of the over, but he has since taken 2 wickets. And now with just 50 balls remaining in the day, you need another 40 runs, but you've also just lost your 5th wicket. And so all sorts of nervous times here. The batter is going to be Junaid Siddiqui. Leg spinning all-rounder. You saw him bowl earlier on and bowl with great effect. But now he's going to be asked, first of all, to stave off the hat trick. And then not only stave off the hat trick, but help Jesse Bhutan to knock off the remaining runs. So this is going to be really interesting. First of all, let's see what happens on the hat-trick ball. They're not going to pressure. In fact, I was about to say they won't pressure him for the hat-trick. But all of a sudden, Usman Shinwari is coming into first slip. So pay attention to this. Mohammed Mohsin looking here for a hat-trick. Full and straight is what I would think. That's exactly what it is. And that's a good stop. Oh, great work in the deep. That is Mehdi Hassan. So they keep the pressure on. Don't take the hat-trick. That good fielding is what keeps the batters in place. And now it's really important that you close strongly here. Mohsin has already taken 2 wickets, conceded 4 runs, but everything he has into this delivery. Close. Junaid Siddiqui just does survive. Boot. So it certainly came off the boot. The only question is, was it straight enough? And eventually, umpire Anvesh Achanta deciding that it was just slipping down leg. Eventful over. Couple wickets and 4 runs at the end of the over. The score is for so Mehdi Hassan is the bowler who I think the Atlanta Lightning have identified as the weak link in the bowling attack. He went for 14 in his first over and one delivery into his second over. You can add 4 more to that. Jesse Bhutan lofting that one over the top of extra cover for 4. So, need to absolutely correct things here. You cannot bowl that ball with that much width, allowing the batter to free his arms. In fact, that went for 6. Didn't realize it was hit that well. Went all the way for 6. Look at this. Oh, wraps him on the pad. Umpire Byron Roberts thinks that one is maybe bouncing a little too high. That was a tremendous strike. That was hit so well, it was flat. I didn't realize, based on where we are, the outfield is sort of convex shaped. So it's on the other side of the field. Didn't exactly see where that ball landed. But all of a sudden, that would have relieved some of the pressure. A couple dot balls since that, but you started out on the back foot here by conceding a 6. And that just means that there's only 34 more runs needed. You hear the talking, the chirping around the field as they know that they absolutely need a wicket here. 3 consecutive dot balls after the 6. So this is a good comeback in progress so far by Mehdi Hassan. Plenty of chat, plenty of chirping. And let's see where we end up here, because Mehdi Hassan, again, just a little bit expensive. 1.4 overs now for 20. Plays this off the back foot. Norman Anwar is right there. 4 straight dot balls after the 6. This is a good comeback. But again, it's sometimes all about how you close out the over. So let's see exactly how he closes the over here. Mehdi Hassan. Here's the last ball. Slaps it into the deep. Work for the fielder, the sweeper out there to do. That is Seth Badar out there on the boundary. 2 more runs. So runs off the first and the last balls of the over. 8 runs coming from the over. And that is the end of 13. The score is 76 for 5. Last over being bowled here by Mohamed Mohsin. Struck. Oh my goodness, look at that. Hammered right back to Mohamed Mohsin, who takes a blinder. One-handed to complete the catch himself. That is the end of Junaid Siddiqui. It was struck firmly. It was struck right back at him, but he did essentially a reflex catch and snatches it out of nowhere. I've seen Mohamed Mohsin take catches over the years, but none better than that one. His follow-through was taking him off of the pitch to the left, and he reached back to his right and completed a stunning return catch. We've seen a few return catches today. This one, for me, is the best of the lot. Absolutely stunning catch by Mohamed Mohsin. Does it all himself, so the results in a wicket. 7 replay is the most stunning catch. Absolutely amazing. Mohamed Mohsin into the action again. So 76 runs are needed for the Lightning. needed for the Knight Riders and another 41 balls to go. You get the sense that one way or the other, this is not going to go the full 20 overs. Absolutely stunning. Amazing. Mohammed Mohsin's is now 3.1 overs, 4 for 15. And he still has another 5 balls left to do damage. Now this is Dexter Sween. Dexter Sween, a right-handed batter. Ali Sheikh coming back onto the boundary. This is going to be Nauman Anwar at long on, Ali Sheikh at long off. There's a sweeper on the offside. That's Mukhtar Ahmed. Here is Mohammed Mohsin again. Oh, bang on target. Defended into the outside for no run. Then to complete the field, Saif Badar is on a deep mid-wicket. And Shubham Ranjani at deep backward square leg. That's the 5 outside. Oh my goodness, appeal. Thinking about it, umpire says no. Umpire Anvesh Achanta thinking about it, had a long time to think about it, and eventually concluding that it was not out. And in the meantime, they did run through for a single. In fact, it appears as though that would have come off of the glove because no signal there. I don't know if I can handle all. Is joining me again. Shafazal, the game has changed tremendously since you were here. Short, and it gets the treatment. It goes all the way for 6. Well, Mohammed Mohsin needs to take wickets. He thought he'd try the surprise delivery. Dragged one down to Jesse Bhutan, but he absolutely hammers it away for 6. So that will essentially relieve some of the pressure as that is banged away over the top for 6. So you can't blame Mohammed Mohsin for trying something, but Jesse Bhutan was absolutely ready for that. He gets a big 6. Good delivery, and it's dropped down to short third for a single. Shafaizal, I cannot breathe. Help me.
Yeah, I've been following the scores closely. Mohsin has bowled a telling spell though, but the runs too short. And Jesse Bhutan is the right man for the right job at this stage. He's a powerful striker, and you could tell by one blow the pressure would have eased in that dugout.
This one now played square of the wicket. It's going to be at least a couple. There's Mukhtar Ahmed down there at deep point, and they run through for 2. So it was a big blow losing that wicket for the first ball of this over. But the reality is that 10 runs come from the over. And therefore, at the end of 14, only 22 runs needed the rest of the way. It is a struggle, but it feels like the Lightning will win by a hair.
Yeah, it looks like it. And eventually they'll go back to the drawing board and think that 107 wasn't enough. They'd really given it a good shot, though you have to say the bowling and fielding has been splendid, the Knight Riders. And they can be proud of their effort. And also, they're through to the next round. So we'll see more of them. It's just Atlanta Lightning, who's been the winners here and the finalist on last 2 editions, will have to bow out at this stage in the tournament.
So Mohammed Mohsin, after 4 overs, 4 for 25, does what all good bowlers do. Get a substitute fielder to come on and goes to put his feet up. So it is Josh Trump who's on for Mohammed Mohsin. And in the meantime, Mehdi Hassan, who has been expensive. 2 overs, conceded 22 runs. So I don't know necessarily that you can expect for him to take wickets as such, but what you want from him is to just drag the game all the way to the end. What you want is a couple of tight, in fact, a couple more tight overs. I don't know necessarily that you give him 2 more overs. In fact, it's a little surprising that he's bowling this over number 15, but you do have a long way to go. 22 runs can seem like 220 runs when you're under pressure.
But Brian, it's a given that if this game goes to the 20th over,
the batting team will win. So why you hold back Usman Shinwari? Why don't you want to bowl him his 2 overs at this stage? If he knocks a couple over, then who knows? And probably this was the second thought. And I think we've been heard because Mehdi has given up the ball. And I think it's Usman Shinwari.
Do you have an earpiece, or does he have an earpiece and is he listening to you?
Well, I'm glad they did, because it makes more of a contest now.
It absolutely makes sense because, look, I mentioned a second ago, I'm not sure why he's bowling over 15. Usman Shinwari has bowled 2 overs. Usman Shinwari has 2 overs, 1 for 5. Carmel LaRue has bowled 2 overs, 1 for 11. Matthew Ford, 2 overs, none for 13. Shubham Ranjani, 2 overs, none for 10. So you get 5 overs out of, you have a choice of, 8 overs from which to get 5. I don't know that there's any reason to bowl spin the rest of the way. Your pacers, who are all accurate and hostile, can do it from here for you.
Absolutely, and get your best man on. That's what exactly he's done. Take 2 out, 2 wickets to the total, make it 90 for 8, and then we'll be talking.
Left arm express. Here he is. In the air and gone! You called it, Faisal.
That's exactly what he was brought on for, and that's exactly what he's delivered. The game is still very much on. Usman Khan Shinwari, the left arm seamer, has done the damage, and you could tell by the reaction of the batter, Jesse Bouton, the big hitting Bouton, and he was the man that Lightning would be hoping to see them over the line. He's now been taken care of thanks to Usman Shinwari, and we're in for the contest, man. This is so exciting and so thrilling. Sam Parmi fighting in the other ground to stay in the tournament. Lightning fighting here. The finalists from the first year of Atlanta Open. They both can go home if they lose, but they don't want to give it up easily.
You can tell from the reaction, not just on the field, but their box, because it only made logical sense to get your best bowler on. I know I agree exactly with your analysis. If you take the game into the last over, the batting side will probably win. And so what you need from here is you need wickets. And you see the big grin on Ali Sheikh's face from here. Has not yet bowled, and I would think will not bowl. So what he's going to be doing, you'll see him in the hot spots. He's now going down to deep square leg. At some point, you may see a short delivery. And in fact, there's a deep square leg. And this is now Matthew Trump coming down into deep fine leg. So I am expecting him to attack the body. He's very quick, and I don't know that I wouldn't be expecting body line here if I were the new batter, Dexter Sween. In fact, that's a new batter. This is driven into the outside. They want a quick single, they'll take it.
Well, that's Sagar Patel. Normally opens the batting, so
Thank you.
shows the depth of the batting lineup of Atlanta Lightning. And probably you need someone as solid as Sagar to be coming in, with the run rate not being challenged at all. Just required to bat on.
I've said it a number of times already. Singles wins you this game. And from the standpoint of the the UMMC Night Riders, wickets win you this game. If you're bowling to Sagar Patel, who is the top order bat, then maybe you sort of bowl a good length. But if you're bowling to a number 10, I'm looking for something short. Oh, goes for the Yorker though. Good old double bluff, because you have a man at deep fine leg and a man at deep backward square leg. So that immediately would put you in the mind as a batter of looking for something short. Tried to go for the double bluff, but he blocked it.
Yeah, we got a combo of a Pakistani and a West Indian in the combo box. And the fast bowling tradition as it goes, if you're a West Indian fast bowler, you're famous for your bouncers.
Oh my goodness.
And if you're a Pakistani fast bowler, you're famous for your Yorkers.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I'm looking right. I'm calling it. This is going to be a bouncer. Oh no, he went for the Yorker
See,
again.
typical West Indian mentality. You called for a bouncer. This is fascinating stuff.
I'll tell you what, though, it was well played, absolutely well played, and punching it right back down the ground. So, in and amongst all of that, you've already gotten yourself in a position where you've taken a couple of deliveries, you've maneuvered the strike. So, a couple of singles already. A wicket has fallen, but 2 balls remaining here in Usman Shinwari's 3rd over. So if you're Sagar Patel, all you have to do is just keep these Yorkers out.
Let me call this a bouncer, man.
All right, let's see. Nope, went for the Yorker, but clipped in the air. Carmel LaRue down at long on. They come back. No, they won't come back for a second. This is amazing bowling by Usman Shinwari, but they're able to maneuver him to get singles. And again, singles wins you this game if you are the Atlanta Lightning. So if you're the UMMC Night Riders, you absolutely have to take wickets. If you're going to win this game, there is no choice.
Absolutely. Both Atlanta teams fighting tooth and nail to reach the knockout stages. And it's fascinating, if they both go through, they will be in the bottom half of that seeding list. So they'll be 5 to 8. And they'll be coming up against top teams.
Yorker in the air, and it goes for 6. Well, maybe he should have been bowling the bouncers I was calling for, shot myself, because he just bowled a Yorker and he tried a Yorker, ended up being a low full toss and just playing sweetly through the line was Sagar Patel, who goes all the way for 6.
1 Yorker too many. And that nervousness in the camp of Atlanta Lightning, a sudden relief as you saw the drum beating. And that is a sign that they feel well in control. And the game has been so tight. 1 blow here and there can really make the difference. And that was indeed a telling blow at the final delivery of this over. So 5 still to go. Only 12 needed with 3 wickets standing. Another important choice for the skipper. Who do you want to bowl now?
Oh my goodness. Strike bowlers. You want Carmel LaRue bowling this. In fact, but he seems to be down at the boundary, which probably means that it's going to be Matthew Ford, who again is an excellent bowler. For me, what would have made the difference is the lefty fast bowler slanting the ball across and threatening the outside edge. That would be the argument for getting the ball to Carmel LaRue. However, not that Matthew Ford is a bad option either. So we'll see what he can do here. He knows that he needs to take wickets. Matthew Ford, so far, he's bowled 2 overs, and those 2 overs have only cost 13 runs. But he needs more than that now. He needs wickets.
I've seen Matthew Ford take a hat-trick before, and that is what the Knight Riders will be expecting. That will give them a huge victory by 11 runs if he does that at the start of the over.
Bang on target, but they'll get 1. In fact, yeah, they just get 1. Ali Sheikh prowling, so they're not going to take him on.
And did you notice where Ali Sheikh went and chased this delivery from mid-off? He went all the way to mid-wicket. Such is the energy and enthusiasm of the young man. And I'm glad to say that I've seen him grow from an under-19 boy to a very central figure at the highest level now.
Ali Sheikh is still a U21 player. I'm sure I've known him for 10 years. I've seen him come from from his pre-pubescent years. This one is a little straight to pace off that one, bowling it into the wicket. And Dexter Sweeney not exactly timing it well, but it does result in a dot ball. So you'll take that. Of course, Ali Sheikh's father, Arthur Naki, in Dallas right now, is on pins and needles. Because, of course, obviously a big supporter of his son and every team that his son plays for. Saw him win the championship on Sunday night. And now he's in a different fight here. Went for the Yorker, gets away with a low full toss. You hear the yells from out in the dugout wanting a no ball. That was probably knee height, so that was a little optimistic. But yet another single. So Shah Faisal, only 11 runs remaining now. And even though the UMMC Knight Riders have fought well, it appears that they're going to come out on the short end.
Yeah, and again, like I said many times, they will go back to their effort with the bat and consider themselves 30 runs short.
Absolutely. Oh, again, the slower ball into the pitch. Matthew Ford. Matthew Ford, you probably heard that without the benefit of a mic from wherever you are. He is absolutely yelling at Mukhtar Ahmed, do not under any circumstances throw that ball.
That is incredible.
So bowling over the wicket to the right-handed Sagar Patel. 3 from 4.
And I'd have to say, Brian, such is the depth, quality in the roster that this is not even knockout. And we've seen some great games.
Yes. Quick delivery. Very quick. Again, Matthew Ford, the last time I saw him, I know did not have as much pace as he has right now. He's picked up a few extra yards of pace in the last year or so. He's always been very accurate, always been very threatening, but he seems to have just picked up that additional level of pace, which makes him so much more of a dangerous bowler.
He could do so much with 1 wicket here to keep this contest alive.
In the air and gone. Taking it backward square leg. Matthew Ford does what you need from him. He takes a wicket. That ball was a little, I think it took pace off and induced a false stroke. That is Sagar Patel, who was looking to go big on the leg side, but he holds out in the deep. The 8th wicket goes down, 97 for 8.
I need to be picking some lottery numbers tonight by the looks of it. I'm normally not that lucky, but a wicket that the game needed and a wicket that has come. Matthew Ford, change of pace. Sagar Patel was looking to play around with his length by moving around in the crease, and that slow delivery didn't quite catch the middle of the bat, and nicely taken under pressure, which means 8 wickets are down and could still be anybody's game, Brian. This is exciting stuff.
My goodness, that is the end of over number 16. One gets the sense that we're not going to go into the 20th over way or the other before you get that far. But officially, another 24 balls remaining. And who do you bowl now? I think he's going back to Karma LaRue, or is he? There's a conference, and we'll see what comes as a result of this conference.
Do you want me to pick one bowler? Usman Shinwari.
Shinwari. Does it not bother you that he was training for the Yorker, missed his length a number of times and got hit for 6? Does that factor in your thinking at all?
Not really, since we got a new man in, number 10. And that Yorker at pace, he only needs to get 1 right out of 6. And he would have taken the 9th wicket. And if he gets 2 right, the game could be over.
Now, Saurabh Netravalkar is the new batter. He will be at the non-strikers. And in fact, that's the end of the over. So yes, the new bowler. Wait, let's just get our bearings right here. That would have been the last over. So the last ball was bowled from the southern end. So it is now going to be, I think you're exactly right, Shinwari with his cap off, about to hand it to the umpire. So he'll be bowling to Dexter Sween. Dexter Sween, 11 from 8. And he is the one who hit the 6 down the ground off of Shinwari. That was the last ball that he faced from Shinwari. Does Shinwari go bouncer here? You'd have to go bouncer, wouldn't you?
Yeah, first delivery of the over, yes. Because once he's called for 1 for the over, then he'll become predictable. But again, since Dexter hit him for that 6, he would be thinking along the same lines, but Shinwari can bluff him. I think in the meantime, is there a change of plan?
There is a change of plan, and it is Karma LaRue.
It's
very interesting. Now, Karma LaRue and Usman Shinwari, I think you call him Usman Khan Shinwari, both left armers, both quick. I would give Shinwari the advantage in terms of raw pace, but Karma LaRue is a much taller bowler, so he gets good bounce. And earlier on, he bowled a bouncer to Shamar Brooks that literally had him jumping off of the ground from that same end from which he's about to bowl. So for me, That bouncer is still in the equation. However, fine leg is inside the circle. There's a deep backward square leg. I believe that is Matthew Trump out there. No, in fact, it's Joshua Trump. But because of the fact that fine leg is inside the circle, that tells me that he's going to be bowling on the fuller side. So we'll see where it ends up here.
Exactly. If we were to bowl a bouncer, I think he can bring his mid on up and send the fine leg back in case there was a top edge. But him staying in the circle and mid on back, that means that he wants to mix it up.
Absolutely. Now it is important it is the right line as it is the right length. So here's Carmela Rue. Oh, looking to work this away on the leg side. Carmela Rue. Oh, that's going to be, I believe, a leg by. Yep, there's a signal from umpire Byron Roberts, I'm sorry. Umpires, has to be said, have done a wonderful job, not just in this match, but in the entirety of the Atlanta Open. We'll probably say more about the umpires tomorrow because we're coming down to a fast finish here, and I don't want to miss anything. But leg by to start things here in over number 17.
The new man in, number 10 on strike. Nat Travalkar is handy with the bat. And of course clever and smart. That's what you need. Cool heads in this tight situation.
Absolutely cool heads. Now one thing to pay attention to. Running well before Carmela Rue released that ball.
Where's our friend Peter Della Penna? He records and documents all such incidents.
I would love to see the Della Penna oriented statistics on this one. Oh, don't need that. Goes down the leg side. Extra ball, extra run.
And the drum beats. As soon as there's the slightest of release intention,
Yep.
the drum beats. The Atlanta Lightning tent is not beating ferociously, so it means that they're still very, very tense. Yeah.
Only 8 runs away at this stage, though. And in fact, that last wide brought up the 100. And that's going to be 1 run. They won't come back for 2 because you're not taking on Ali Sheikh. But a single. That means that you only have 3 more balls in the over. A 6 levels the score here. A 6 levels the score. Anything after that wins it.
One telling blow will settle the nerves.
I will say this. You will not hear the end of the drums beating if this next ball goes for 6.
And after this ball I'll do that.
Oh, he's going to get 4 here, regardless of whether it's leg buys or not. And in fact, it is runs. So you'll take those runs, and you can hear the drums in the background. And those are more enthusiastic drums, Shah Faisal.
Yeah, those are not the nervous ones. That boundary really is the nerves. And just within striking distance of making into the knockout stages, the champions and the runners-up from the previous 2 editions, Atlanta Lightning, at one stage they were really risking going out of the competition, but now they're just 3 runs away. And Atlanta Fire, in the other ground, they're really struggling. In the last 5 overs, they need 46 with 5 wickets down.
Oh my.
So they may be going home.
Or staying home.
Or staying home, yeah.
Carmela Rue. Good delivery. Slower through the air. But you have house money that you can play with here. You can afford to see off Carmela Rue if you like. If you choose to, Saurabh Netravalkar. 5 from 2 so far. Make that 3 intelligent batting. Even though that last boundary was probably slightly fortuitous. But you put yourself in the position to accept the benefit of any bit of a loose delivery. So just another 3 runs needed. Still 20, make that 19 balls to go. Here's Carmela Rue again. Great delivery.
Well, there was an appeal, but not in unison. The wicketkeeper didn't go up. That was the delivery though. Leaving the right-hander and just rising. Lucky didn't get an edge, the batter.
Great delivery, slanting across. That's the ball I referred to earlier. Dot ball. And just 3 overs remaining. But again, I don't think you're going to need 3 overs. And just before we get to the end of the game, we've been carrying on conversations with people in the YouTube chat section all day. Raj just said, Atlanta Fire isn't struggling. With Lendl Simmons on, it's a straightforward chase. I don't know that it's a straightforward chase. I would say that first of all. Secondly, Lendl Simmons is a tremendous batter, has a tremendous history, but hasn't been at his best in the series so far. So it's anything but straightforward.
And you know who's one of the bowlers bowling over there, and he's still got 1 over left?
Who's that?
That is Salman Irshad, the guy who made waves in CPL.
Yeah.
And if that run rate goes up above 10 or 11 for that last over, you can bet on Salman Irshad doing the job for his side. He's done it at a better level and more illustrious competitions than this. Definitely Simmons in. But yeah, it just takes 1 ball.
This is true. Speaking of it takes 1 ball, we're not through here yet. Either 3 runs or 2 wickets. Either can happen in the next 6 balls. Here's Matthew Ford. Short ball. And it is 1 for the over. You hear the applause around the ground. Good, sharp, short delivery. But it is 1 for the over, so you cannot expect any more short ones. So now what do? Is it all Yorkers the rest of the way?
Yeah, now the batter would know that he cannot bowl this bouncer. Yorker or slow delivery. It's some interesting equation flying around.
Yes.
Atlanta Lightning is surviving here by the skin of their teeth, but
oh, look at this. That is the end of the game. Powered away over mid-wicket. A tremendous blow by Dexter Sween. That is his second 6. He ends up with 18 from 12 balls faced. And the Atlanta Lightning take victory by 2 wickets. Shah Faisal, your reaction?
wow, that was some strike. 2 sixes. Dexter Sween has been the match winner, no doubt about it. In a low-scoring game, the Atlanta Lightning are really jumping for joy, and the Drums, well, I think they forgot in the heat of the moment because they're super excited.
They're checking the permutations to see whether or not this would have qualified them for the playoffs, because they're all huddled around Harsh Kandoy, who I assume is doing the calculations as we speak. So you're going to hear a yell sometime, a very delayed yell. I'm just looking to see what their reaction is going to be.
So,
there it is.
And I think they know now. The guy who's supposed to be beating the drum, he's just hugging the players. He's so excited. Go to the drums, mate. We want that music and that noise, but super excitement here at the Paramveer Cricket Complex. You cannot beat that. Look at the joy of these players. And absolutely joy for us to be bringing to you in your homes on that MLC network.
Oh my goodness. So let's just go through the scorecard. Very much an undercooked score. UMMC Knight Riders spitting the bits, if you will. Ali Sheikh 39 from 35. Mohamed Mohsin 20 from 13, and Mehdi Hassan 10 from 9 were the only ones in double figures. Great bowling by the Atlanta Lightning, led by Fani Simhadri, 4 overs, 3 for 21, and Ravindra Prasad, 4 overs, 3 for 16. But with the bat, the Atlanta Lightning, fair to say, struggled. You see the third name on that scorecard is Shamar. It says Shamar Spring. It's actually Shamar Brooks. 45 from 36, 5 fours and a 6. A pair of 17s after him. Raymond Reefer 17 from 23 and Jesse Bhutan 17 from 13. But then a couple zeros and a couple of other low-digit scores, but Dexter Sween coming in at the end to apply the finishing touches. 18 from 12 with 2 sixes, the last of which won the game. For the bowlers, Mohammed Mohsin I thought was excellent. 4 overs, 4 for 25. 3 overs, 2 for 14 for Usman Shinwari. 1 wicket each for Karmil Aru and Matthew Ford. Shah Faisal, we're breathless.
We are indeed. And low-scoring games can be such thrillers.
Yes.
It's hard to believe, but that is the case generally. Even in 50-over games or 20-over games, sometimes these totals, I mean, there are still more deliberations being made. I think working on the calculations that which team has qualified from this group. I thought for a moment when this game started, it was a straight fight for the Lightning to just win it, and they'll be through. And knowing Knight Riders that they were through already, but we will confirm that in due course. But it was an absolute pleasure alongside you, Brian, and calling this exciting game. It's become really cloudy here at the Paramveer Cricket Complex. We had beautiful weather in this tournament so far.
Yep.
And I hope that you've been through a lot in Dallas through that heat during the Major League and Minor League.
Heaven, to me, honestly.
But this
clouds will not bother me.
This is just perfect for cricket. I mean, even for watching cricket, you can walk around even with the sun out. It's splendid, beautiful breeze blowing across. Perfect conditions. And that means that we're well set for some more exciting actions for the remainder of the weekend, starting tomorrow with the knockout games.
Fantastic. Shah Faisal, it is a pleasure sharing the mic with you again, and we will see you tomorrow. Good night and good luck.
Thank you, Brian, and likewise to you, and hope you have a great evening. Thanks, everybody, for watching. It's been a pleasure, and we look forward to your company tomorrow.